Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, episode 262 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's getting frustrated when their weapons break and they fall off because it's raining with me tonight?
Broken weapon enthusiast Kerry, Chandler, Carusetta on Twitch and YouTube.
Hey, listen, it's me, Blake. Hang on. Nice to be here.
Welcome.
Hello, Nate here, enjoying an egg that Blake made me. That's why he couldn't talk.
Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
Where can people find you at?
Oh, yeah, sorry. You can find me on TikTok at Nate Does Comedy 79 or at Nate Does Comedy. I never know.
And I'm Barry, where you could find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want, at Hawk Hellfire. You could also find our video games we publish at premiumeditiongames.com. Physical games right now for the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 and 5, with several titles available for pre-order and many titles in stock right now.
Sorry, Barry. A game my mom found. We always call Twitter because fuck him. So
yeah, I call Twitter too, but I know there's going to be that one person that goes, "It's X now, actually."
Sure. Hey, you know what? Until Twitter doesn't direct you, if you type in twitter.com, doesn't direct you to the website, it's still Twitter.
Yeah, and until you start doing X's and re-Xing people.
I was doing some
it's the
X
only thing I will dead
night.
name. Twitter. Fuck Elon Musk.
Breath of the Wild.
So we are here to celebrate 5 years of this podcast. I've been going, at the time you're hearing this, it has been going for 5 years. You will hear this the day after the anniversary, if you listen to it the day it comes out. Haven't missed a week, so I'll give myself a pat on the back. I literally
That's amazing.
That is
awesome.
impressive. Good
Give
job.
you a pat on the front and the back. There you go.
Ooh, pat in the front, huh?
I'll take it. So, yeah, 5 years. If you listen to the show, we haven't missed a week. We've put, at this point, we're getting close to 600 episodes because I published so much freaking episodes. We did our first game of the year for this year. Like, you know, I'm hitting my stride even more at 500 episodes. And we
I
just
wasn't invited to that. What the heck, Mike?
Oh, you didn't comment on the post, and I forgot to ask. I was even sure I was even going to get it done in time. That was part of it, too. Because I procrastinated, and I went, oh, shit, it's December 15th. I haven't started yet. That was part of it. So. And we just crossed over 150,000 downloads. So, show is doing really great. If you listen to the show, please subscribe, tell people. Hey, and join our Discord. Please join our Discord. I don't know what to say in the front of the episode. If you listen to the show, just join the damn Discord, please. I need more people to talk to.
Do it.
You'll see a link in the show notes for that. And we are here to talk about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, developed by Nintendo, came out in 2017, a game that I have bitched about on this podcast many times. And I am happy to say I was fucking wrong. So
Good. Glad to hear it.
That's awesome.
I'm happy to say that. I played this game the day I bought it when it came out for the Wii U. I played it right after I beat Dark Souls 1. I think I played a couple times, got off the Great Plateau, got to the Zora City, got to the Divine Beast, beat the first part of the Divine Beast, got inside and said, I don't want Dark Souls in my Zelda. And I only have 3 hearts, a little bit of stamina. I just didn't like the game. There were no tutorials online to look up anything. And, you know, anyone knows me, that's how I play games. And I turned it off and had no interest to ever go back. But these fellows kept telling me how great this game is. So that's my history with Breath of the Wild. What about you, Kerry?
Yes, so this is my number one favorite video game of all time. I'm a big Zelda fan. It's my favorite series, which incidentally, my second favorite series is Dark Souls. But yeah, I'm 40. I got the original Legend of Zelda for Christmas, 1989. We got an NES and the Legend of Zelda and RC Pro-Am, and then it came with Mario and all that. And I've been playing that game ever since. I played through the original Legend of Zelda at least once a year for at least 30 of the last, or at least 25 of the last 35 years or so. And this game is the culmination of that to me. It is the most like the original Zelda, any of the Zelda games. And it was designed that way. If you look at the background of it, you know, the first kind of working thing for this was they did the mechanics of this game in a engine, and basically an original Zelda engine modified, just to see how it would be. But it's that same idea of you've got this big open world, you can go anywhere, but you've got kind of a path you should follow to make it easier and optimal, but you can kind of go almost anywhere. But there's some places you can't go quite yet, but mostly you can. I just adore this game. I love it so much. I have over 200 hours in it on my Switch account. my main Switch account, but then I've also played it a bunch on my son's account and on a third account, and I've played some on a fourth account, done all the DLC. Still haven't 100%ed it, actually, because I didn't use a guide. I've never used a guide of it. I've just done my thing with it. But yeah, I love this game. I got it before it came out, kind of. I got it the day it came out. I pre-ordered it. A month before, exactly 1 month before, February 3rd, 2017, I was walking by GameStop, and they had a poster up that said, double trade-in credit if you trade your console toward a Switch. And so I walked in and confirmed that, went home and grabbed my Wii U and my Xbox 360 and came in and traded them both in. And that gave me enough store credit to fully buy a Nintendo Switch and a copy of Breath of the Wild and put me $30 toward a copy of Mario Kart pre-order. And then all that. And then came in 1 month later, picked it up on the 3rd and sat down and probably played 10 hours that day. And yeah, I love it. My son turned 5 in April of 2017. And I had told my wife, I promised her I wouldn't let him play video games until he turned 5. So he spent 1 month sitting next to me watching me play this. And then when he turned 5, we created his profile and we started playing through with him, with me holding one Joy-Con and him holding the other. And you want to talk about Dark Souls of Zelda? That's the real Dark Souls of Zelda. Play this game co-op. One of you control Link's legs, one of you control his arms. And we got through about 3/4 of the game playing it that way. So yeah, that's a big nutshell, but that's my experience of this game in a nutshell.
It's like co-op Hyrule edition.
Yeah, it's really fun that way. It's really fun. It as long as you don't get mad at each other, which we didn't, so not too much. So. And now he's played through the game. He told me that he's 100%ed it now, and he actually plays it on Master Mode now, and has gotten pretty far in Master Mode. He's 11 now, but you imagine this being your very first video game you ever played? Like,
that's the bar very high, though.
Rest of your
yeah,
life.
You want to talk about the rest of your life, like the bar being so high.
You should have started them off with like Friday the 13th for NES and just find all the freaking LJN games first, and then he could be like,
well, I have that like Zelda Game & Watch, like the new one, that has the original Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening and Adventure of Link on it. And he got a hold of that and has played through most of the original Legend of Zelda on that also.
Awesome.
So he's gotten the first version also. And he's played through a little bit of Link's Awakening on there too. So that's my experience with the game. Sorry I talk so much. Like I said, this is my very favorite game ever, so excited to get to talk about it.
That's a big reason why this happened. All 4 of you played a part in the reason why I finally said, okay, do it. So, and Barry, what about you? What's your history of Breath of the Wild?
Oh wow, we're changing the order, I see.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm like Kerry. I've been a huge Zelda fan since Zelda 1. Now I'm 41, so same age range, and I've played every game and beaten every game at launch from Ocarina of Time onwards. Which when I was in high school, I finally had money to start getting things at launch. And I was so excited for this. I remember when, after the January Switch event, they did the pre-orders for the Master Edition, and I think it went up at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Amazon, and I got the notification and rushed down on my computer and managed to get a pre-order in. That was really hair-raising and crazy. But sure enough, on the 3rd of March, it showed up, the Switch and everything, and I was able to just crack it open, and it came at the perfect time of my life because my mother had been battling colon cancer stage 4 for 2 years at that point, and she did not have long left. In fact, she died on March 26th. So this game was my escape, and it literally allowed me to get out of the hell I was currently living in because I was her caregiver. And any moment that I had to myself, I was able to escape into Hyrule. And ironically, I was able to beat it, not 100% at the time, but I beat it before she passed. That was like the last hurrah during that time period. It really helped me, and it's been very special ever since. And of course, it's Zelda, so it's great to be able to sit and talk about it. What a wonderful game. Truly a special game.
And I completely understand what you're saying, Barry. As a guy who works in that field, I completely understand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's what games do, though. And that will stick with you the rest of your life. And, and Nate, what about you?
Yeah, I got this game at launch. I got the Wii U version. That is the version I originally played and beat the game on because, just didn't get a Switch at launch. And then while I was playing this game, we found out that we were going to have a kid. So it was like two highs of my life, this amazing Zelda game, and I'm going to be a dad. So played the Wii U version. Yeah, I've played Zelda my whole life. Link to the Past was the first one. I watched my older brother play that, and I couldn't read, so I would just copy what he did in the game. And then, but by the time Ocarina of Time came out, I could read. And so that's like my favorite Zelda game. So Breath of the Wild really made me feel like I was a kid again playing Ocarina of Time and just going, this world is so big and I can do whatever I want, you know?
Okay. And Blake, what about you?
So I've never actually played Breath of the Wild, but I'm super excited to hear you guys chat about it. No. So mine's kind of similar. Like I'm 38, so old gamers unite here. And I started with the original Zelda, but I actually, after Link to the Past, which is one of my all-time favorite games, fell off the series for a bit. Like I've never played Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. Definitely big holes in my kind of catalog here.
You're missing out.
I know. Yeah, I really want to play them. I'll get around to it one day, I swear, before I die. So when I got a Switch, I knew, obviously the critical reception of Breath of the Wild was just off the charts. And I knew it was a game I want to play, and it appealed to me for reasons we'll get into. I feel like it really does something that only video games can do, the medium of video games, something we're all pretty passionate about. And we'll talk about those reasons, but it's just such a fantastic experience. And I knew from what I'd heard that I would enjoy it. And sure enough, as soon as I picked it up, it was just enthralling. And me and Mike have talked about this a little bit before, but gosh, I just got completely lost in it. And just the freeform kind of nature of the game. You talked a little bit about Dark Souls. I feel like they do share a bit of that DNA. In the sense do. Just like, only a game can provide that experience of just like, here's a canvas, like paint your own journey. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure there's many other games that have ever been made that do that more than Breath of the Wild. So I'm definitely super excited to talk about this with you guys.
That's actually one of my complaints, personally, is that the game is too open and I have too much choice. It's a personal complaint of mine.
Do you also not like Skyrim and Fallout? And,
you mean a game that I never played?
Yeah.
For a reason?
No
I played Fallout 3,
tonight.
and I never played Skyrim, and that's on purpose.
Man.
So,
all right.
yes.
Well, future episode. Now that you've played this, let's do Skyrim too. I can finally actually finish the main quest in that game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Through the power of peer pressure, we're gonna get Mike to play Skyrim.
Let's say I have upwards of 400 hours of Skyrim, and I've never gotten more than halfway through the main quest. And I love it. That's what I want. I want to just play. I'm playing Cyberpunk right now, and I've been like doing nothing but side quests for the last at least 30, 40 hours of that game.
The main quest in Skyrim is not worth seeing through. I didn't see it through till the PS4 version came out, and I was like, I guess I should eventually like finish this. And then I beat it, and I was like, I'd rather have just never engaged with it.
Exactly. I've seen the ending, and I'd rather play like the modded version that lets you do like your own thing with it anyway. So
I mean, I will do Skyrim someday, but I got 100%. Well, it's okay. I didn't 100%. I 100% the achievements in Oblivion back when I played that. And I beat that.
You have so much choice in that game. You walk out of that jail, and you can just go anywhere. And the enemies even scale with you, so it's like it doesn't matter where you go.
I didn't say I enjoyed the experience. Anywhere. I just said I thought it was the game. There's a difference here.
Okay.
I mean, Oblivion's all right. I've been a while, but I don't like endless choice. I like to be directed in a game. I mean, I beat this game in 40 hours for Breath of the Wild in a week. I played this game nonstop. Part of that was I needed to beat this and get it over with so I could finally move on with my life. Because of just the podcast and just my lizard brain at times is just like, must finish, move on to next thing, and I couldn't do anything until I did.
Yeah, I get if you're playing something for a podcast why you need to kind of like fast, like whenever we played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I just mainlined the main quest because I needed to finish it in time for the podcast. So
I would
though I've 100%ed it in the past, but yeah.
I would like to point out I went to How Long to Beat, checked Mike's time against just main story completion completion time, and that is 50 hours on How Long to Beat. So congratulations, Mike. You beat the game.
I did a decent amount. I did 72 shrines. I did all 4 divine beasts. I did the Master Sword. I went to every tower.
Now you had a guide and a map and stuff, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, so I think that might be why you're.
There was
that cuts the time down for sure.
I know the idea of this game is supposed to be you just exploring this open, vast world. You see something shiny, you go to it. You see a mountain, you climb it, and even back in the day, pre-podcast, when I first played this game, that is just not for me. I want Ubisoft open world. I want icons here.
Oh God, I hate that.
I want that. I want you to tell me you are 10 meters away. Oh, it must be up higher. It must be lower. Like, I don't want just... I mean, again, I'm glad this game exists for the people who want this. It is just not what I want.
No, I understand. Like, I think that there are kind of like two kinds of gamers when it comes to that, to open world like that, because I have friends that are like, oh man, Horizon Zero Dawn is so good. And I played it and I was like, this game, I don't like this. Like, there's like I feel like I'm being led around by the nose with the story. Every time I like meet somebody, I have to sit through like a cutscene, like a long cutscene, or like I have to walk around a camp slowly following someone as they talk endlessly. And then I go out into the open world and there's just 1,000 icons, to walk around and click on. And I hate it. And it was like, that's how Assassin's Creed is. But with Assassin's Creed, you've got the like historical elements and you've got the really good parkour. And so I think that gets it. I get past with that. But I really prefer, like, one of my favorite open world experiences is Morrowind, where you don't even have a map. And you just have to like, you go to someone and like, all right, follow this creek for a few miles until you see a big black tree, and then take a left and you'll see a cave. And then I do that, but I took a right instead of a left because I forgot. And man, I found a fortress of orcs. I'm going to fight this fortress of orcs. All right. And then we look at my quest log. Oh, I took a right when I was supposed to take a left. Let me go check. And man, I love that. And this game, you have the map, but like, but you don't, like I said, it's not just like covered with these icons until you find stuff. And then, you've got some icons that are on there, but yeah, I don't know. I think it is just like, I think it's two different ways to enjoy an open world game. And I think both are really popular. So I don't think it's weird to prefer one over the other at all. But
I think it depends also what kind of gamer or what kind of even mood you're in, or what your time restraints are. Because I know some games now are actually giving you the option to have icons or not have icons. And I think it's one of those where it's like, hey, you know what? I just want to do the main story, or I want to do this a little faster. You want the icons to speed it up a little bit versus I just want to explore.
I love those options. And this game was one of the first ones that gave me the option to not have a HUD. And I've never played this with the HUD for more than about 30 seconds. In my over 400 or over 300 hours now on this game, I've never used the HUD.
You turn off the stamina and heart meter and things?
No, you can still see the stamina and heart meter whenever you use them. So if you get hit, your hearts show up. I think maybe the hearts stay up, actually.
Oh, but you can't see like where it tells you to use the bomb or the sword or stuff like that?
So no mini-map, no bomb, sword, stuff like that, no Divine Beast icons, any of that stuff.
Oh.
I think, I love it. I think it's...
Yeah, I can't. No.
That's how I played Tears of the Kingdom.
That's how I played Tears of the Kingdom.
It was honestly a really cool experience, just like not having that mini map to fall back on. Like I used beacons a lot more in Tears of the Kingdom than I did in Breath of the Wild, just because I would like R3 in and be like, oh, that's where I need, that's where I put that.
You guys told me how to never play this game. Thank you. Okay. I'm glad it's there. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not for everyone. I'm glad they have both, but I wish I could see an image. Image search. There it is. Yeah, all it shows you when you have the HUD off is your hearts. And I think, it doesn't show the hearts. I don't think it shows the hearts unless something happens, like you heal or get hit. I think that's all, because I'm looking at a lot of screenshots where there's no hearts either. But then I'm seeing some where there are. So yeah, I think whenever you have the HUD off, all you see is, you don't see even hearts unless something happens to affect them. And that is like, I love playing that way. But yeah, there's no, like, I'm looking at what it looks like with the HUD, because that's how my son plays. And it shows you the time and the temperature. You've got like a sound meter telling you how loud you're being. You've got like what weapons you have access to or whatever, or what your buttons do. It's wow. Yeah, I play with no HUD. I love it. It's so immersive.
So, Barry, how do you play open world? Do you prefer just to explore, or are you like me?
I like icons that show where I'm supposed to go. So when I get to that tree, I was supposed to make a left, and it tells me, go left. So I purposely will go right. I will purposely go every direction but the way I'm supposed to go until I've exhausted everything else, and then I'll go that direction. And it's kind of annoying when it's, I don't know, and I'm like, oh, I don't know which way. I'm going to go left here, and then that turns out to be the right way when I want to explore. I'm like, damn it, I want to go do other stuff first. So I like knowing where I'm supposed to go, so I know where not to go at that point.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it because I play without the mini map, and that's what can be a little rough is not having the mini map. So I'm constantly pulling up the map to get reoriented. I wish I could have the HUD, but have like a little just mini map button to pop it up and off, like Diablo, where you can press the tab key to bring up the mini map and then turn it back off. I would like that. That would help. I was thinking about because I'm playing Cyberpunk and I have that set to like a low HUD mode as well, but I still have the mini map on because it would be impossible to navigate the city without a mini map to me. But this game is, it's not that big of an open world. And the biomes are pretty distinct, and you've got landmarks and stuff, so it's not that hard to get along without. And you've got like the sun to give you your like east and west and all that stuff. So, but I love that.
I've always been a fan of mini maps.
I couldn't imagine without a map. Blake, what about you for open world stuff?
I'd say like as I've gotten older, and we all don't have the time to game and stuff like we used to, and especially I know Mike is this way, or can be, and I am certainly. I can tend to take breaks sometimes between games. So I would say I appreciate the option for that kind of quality of life stuff, but I've kind of consistently found that some of my favorite gaming experiences, some of my all-time favorite games, like Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild, Outer Wilds is a game I've gushed about just numerous times. Another game that does this really well is I think I love those games that do it really purposeful. It can be a tough kind of trope to pull off, but the games that I've mentioned that pull off that exploration where everything just feels really meaningfully placed, with obviously a lot of thought put into it. I've just found that consistently these games have just been games that I've enjoyed more than any other. So I definitely lean towards that, like letting the gamer kind of discover these things on their own. Although I definitely do appreciate the kind of quality of life options available. But just as a game design philosophy, I've found that I just consistently gravitate towards those kind of exploration-heavy games.
Yeah, I thought it was cool you brought up Elden Ring because that's my second favorite video game after this one.
Right.
And it's Dark Souls with the Breath of the Wild treatment. It feels like very Breath of the Wild, inspired. And it definitely is. Like you can see the Breath of the Wild influence on it. And like I was thinking about when you were talking about that, how when you go to a site of grace, which are their version of bonfires, the site of grace has a little like wisp of golden light pointing the direction toward the nearest boss.
Exactly.
Or the nearest major world boss. That way, if you feel like, hey, I'm going to go take on the next major dungeon and world boss, then you just follow the little light point, arrows. And if you are like, I don't have any business fighting a boss, I'm going to go in the opposite direction of this little light arrow.
Exactly. I like the nudge without being forced, like the Ubisoft, like we talked about. Like, hey, here's a big glowing icon. You must go here. Or
Ghost of Tsushima has like the leaves blow in certain directions to give you directions.
That's really cool. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Me too. I've got it. I haven't played it yet.
I want to play on PS5 now that I have it.
I have it installed on my PS5. It's one of the first games I bought for it, and I still haven't played. There's no time. So I definitely get the appeal of getting a guide and blowing through this game. You could still have a ton of fun with it.
I have one big PS5 game I'm going to play this year, which is Bloodborne on my PS5.
Keep me in mind. I love Bloodborne, and it's the only Souls game I haven't beaten. So
one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun episode.
But Nate, what about you? How's your feeling open world?
I prefer a healthy mix of, I need some guidance every once in a while, but other times, like I just want to explore. So I don't want too many icons on there.
Okay. It's good to hear all the differences of how you guys feel. Like, because that was one of my issues when I first played this game. They told me, go find these memories. I'm like, all right, part of the main quest. And I'm like, and she just gave me pictures. I'm like, you want me to walk around this world and figure out where? I'm like, fuck no.
So can I tell you a secret about the memories? It's not that big a secret.
Yes.
You might know it. Every memory has some Hylian text underneath it. The Hylian text tells you where the memory is at.
Oh.
And so if you had, for instance, if you like look up a Hylian alphabet thing online, then you can translate them and it tells you exactly where to go. It tells you the area to go in. But what my crazy brain did was after I found like 6 of them and I read that it did that online, I took the names and where they were at and I reverse engineered the Hylian alphabet from that to find the last like 5.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so that is how crazy about this game I was. reverse engineer the Hylian alphabet to figure out what, because the very last one I found, that one took me forever, even knowing where it was at. It was the one that's like, it's in the edge of a little piece of woods in Hyrule Field. And the text just says Hyrule Field, and Hyrule Field is huge. And it took me a long time to find the last of the first 12, because there is a 13th one. Spoilers.
Yeah, no, that was one of my turnoffs originally. Like, when I did this time, I just, cheated, so I didn't care. Like, I had guides. I was like, yeah, this is fine. I can figure out. You tell me exactly where it is. But, like, little things like that would upset me because it's just too much. Like, this game had all the things I don't like in games. Like we talked about, an open world map that doesn't explain to me. You put me in a situation where my weapons break, which really doesn't matter that far into the game. Once I actually got into the game, I realized that I'm fine. By the time my weapon breaks, I just avoided combat for the most part.
Yeah, the weapon breaking is, I think, the number one complaint people have about the game, and I definitely recognize it as a valid complaint. I personally find it to be a benefit, a bonus, but I because the reason they put it in there, I like, which is to force you to not get settled on one thing. You think when I play Dark Souls, a lot of the time, usually, Dark Souls 1, I'm like, all right, this time I'm going to do a Claymore build. And so I get the Claymore, I get my strength up to 18. All right, I'm Claymore for the rest of the game. From like an hour into the game until I beat the game, I'm using the Claymore. I never touch another weapon. And that can be kind of boring, In this game, you're always finding new stuff. You're always getting new weapons, and so you're always trying out new combinations. The game kind of is pushing you to do that by making them always be breaking. But I do understand that some people just they want that. They just want I found a weapon I like. I want to just use this weapon. And I think if I made one change to the weapon system, I would make the Master Sword not break. And then don't make the Master Sword very powerful, which it's not. The Master Sword actually doesn't do very much damage compared to a lot of the other weapons, unless it's being used against Ganon Blight. So anything that's been infected by Ganon's Blight, by the Calamity Blight, it takes like double damage from the Master Sword. And then the Master Sword does a ton of damage. And then you also can power up the Master Sword in the DLC to make it, I think, triple. Well, you buff it up 3 times. I don't remember how much it does it. But if you made the Master Sword maybe a little weaker than it is, but make it never break, then I think that would solve a lot of people's complaints, because then you're like, okay, but the Master Sword, at least, that doesn't break.
Well,
it doesn't really break in the game either, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute cooldown. What you do is you put down the Switch for 10 minutes and go like edit a podcast or do something else you should be doing.
There you go. See, it's It's like when the Wii would have the little thing pop up saying, hey, you should take a break and go play outside. It's like that.
Or like Metal Gear Solid 2 at the end. You've been playing for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
See, I always think of the Virtual Boy.
Oh, yeah, the Virtual Boy. Had to do that so that people didn't literally go blind. Hey, we've been firing red lasers into your eyeballs for like 15 minutes. You need to take a break.
That sounds accurate. No, I got over the weapon break. It's really just, also when I first played this game, that was my issue because I kept fighting. In this point, I didn't fight unless you had something I wanted or you were in my way for a reason where I had to fight you. If it was a situation where I could just run my ass away, I ran my ass away. That was part of the issue. I had to learn that, because after playing Dark Souls, I fight everything in Dark Souls because I love experience, and I'm a sucker for that.
Anything you don't kill might walk up behind you and kill you later.
Yeah, so that too. So my brain was very in the Dark Souls mode when I first played this, and when I played it this time, I watched like multiple YouTube videos on how to play Breath of the Wild. Before I played it, I talked to you guys constantly in the chat while playing it, and it made the weapon not breaking a thing. Like, at one point, I really only hunt. If you had a bow and arrow, I hunted your ass down. If you didn't, if you were like, depending on what color you were, I just ran if you were black, we're running my ass away. I'm not dealing with a black monster that's going to be stronger and more powerful. I'm like, nope, we're just going to leave you alone. Like, you don't need to be messed with. If you're red or blue, we're killing you, but not if you're a darker color.
The base game has white also, right? Or is that only in the...
I think there was white, wasn't there?
White, yeah, white.
Yeah, white's above silver. Yeah, silver's above black, and then gold's only in master mode.
They're not real common. I think the silver's
rare.
Okay, because when I got to the castle, when I finally went to Hyrule Castle, I fucking fought nobody, and I found a guy that showed like a real like trick way to get there, and I did that.
Metal Gear Solid version.
It wasn't in my path.
Yeah,
I literally
did-
climbed up the walls and
I didn't find the shield on my own. That was something where like my son, like after I'd already beaten the game and then still put another like 60 hours into the game after beating it, he was like, "Why don't you get the Hylian shield?" I'm like, "Well, I never found it," and he told me where to get it. So
I think that's.
I was going to say what you're going to say.
No, I was gonna say that's another complaint I do have is that the Hylian shield also breaks. It's a super high durability, but I'm like, come on, like those are iconic. Like that should not break, or at least have the same kind of cooldown that the Master Sword has.
yeah, I agree with that. I think having like maybe one set of weapons, a sword, a shield, and a bow that are like late game that don't break would be like a good addition.
Well, and those are iconic. I mean,
yeah, iconic ones. You could find like the Twilight Bow, because the Twilight Bow is the Twilight Bow in this game, or is that only in Tears of the Kingdom, where you find Zelda's bow from Twilight Princess at the top of Hyrule Castle? I think that's only in Tears of the Kingdom.
That's Tears of the Kingdom, but those are all from Amiibo, though. I mean, you can get it from Amiibo.
Oh, you can also get them from Amiibo.
Yeah,
right? But you can get the Twilight Bow from the top of the castle.
In Tears of the Kingdom, what they did is they made all the Amiibo exclusive armor available to get within the game. You have to find them.
Right.
But you don't need Amiibo.
It was stuff that was, and those things were Amiibo only in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was also my mistake when I first played this game. Is I used Amiibo constantly, and it took away a little bit from the game because then I maxed out my inventory slots. I didn't understand. I had items that made no sense to me. I had art, it was just very confusing. And this time I didn't use Amiibo at all, even though I'm surrounded by like 50 of them probably. But
yeah, I did. I have 6 Zelda Amiibo, because I'm not a big, like, I don't collect Amiibo or whatever. But I have 6 Zelda Amiibo and 2 Metroid Amiibo, and then 1 Street Fighter. I have a Ryu, and that's all I have. But I did use the Amiibo a good deal, mostly after I beat the game, when I was like just trying to collect everything. And I do think that's kind of, I'm not a fan of if you're really trying to collect everything, that you have to either buy these expensive limited edition toys, or you have to buy or create your own, which, eventually I got like a pack of 200 NFC tags on Amazon for $5, and my phone can create Amiibo, can program NFC tags. And so I've got an app where I can make every Amiibo that's ever been made as an NFC tag. But then I ended up just, instead of sitting and doing that for like hours, I spent $20 on a pack of every Amiibo card for Breath of the Wild.
I mean, that's good.
Mostly for my son, because he wants to collect everything in this and Tears of the Kingdom. So and then he'll sit there and run through them on Tears of the Kingdom.
That's what you should do. It's just buy the cards. I have the whole Amiibo.
Yeah,
I have all the Zelda
Amiibo. Make your own, because fuck Nintendo and their artificial scarcity with these toys, and people spending it's ridiculous.
Well, they've been doing reprints, to be fair, like lots of reprints on the
They have done, but there's some that they don't like. I love them because they're just they're relatively speaking cheap, really nice looking little statues of my favorite stuff. Because
I have 2 that I paid more than at retail for. I don't know what I paid because my wife bought me both of them, because they were the 2 that I could not find. Sheik, and then my dumbass didn't buy Link's Awakening Link. I thought he looked stupid.
I didn't.
I'm like, I don't need this. But
I got really lucky. Well, not really lucky, but there was like a Cyber Monday, or no, it was like a Black Friday online deal with Toys R Us back in like 2019 for specifically Zelda Amiibo, where it was like each time you buy one, it's like buy one, get the other one half off, buy one, get half off. And I got Link and Zelda. I got like 2 different Links and Zelda that way. And I actually ended up buying like several more and then reselling them for just base $15 price, and made back all my money, to where they ended up being free minus whatever the eBay fees were.
That's not bad at all then.
Yeah, well, I hate scalpers, so I was like, I'm going to sell these at their MSRP, but get my money back. So
yeah, you get it the right way.
Back's fine.
Nate, how do you feel about Amiibos?
I collect them, all the Zelda ones at least. I am missing a few before I took the deep dive, but yeah, I'd use them in the game. I mean, whatever. I got a lot of fish from the Wind Waker Amiibos, and just cooking up some fish.
Does anybody
never saw it coming?
Does anybody have the Link Wolf Amiibo?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have that one, and that one's a lot of fun. And if you didn't power it up in Twilight Princess HD, then it's not like game breaking or anything. If you powered it up fully in Twilight Princess HD, it's pretty like easy mode, honestly. But if you didn't, then I just have mine set to 3 hearts, and so you just have a little like 3-heart companion. It's he takes care of like the best thing is like when you're running through wildlife area, he just is like taking down deer left and right. So you got plenty of steak.
I should have did that.
Yeah,
because I didn't use him this time. I used him the first time I played. And I completely forgot about him. I beat Twilight Princess HD back on the Wii U. God, I wish that game was on the Switch. But that's neither here nor there. And I completely forgot. I don't know. I was being stupid. Like I have all the Zelda amiibos. I have other amiibos, and I was going to do it, but because of my bad experience when I played this game the first time, I don't know why I was like, I don't want to cheat, even though some people consider using the guy cheating. But hey,
no, I get what you're saying though. It does using it early game especially could I mean, honestly, your weapon, how powerful your weapon is doesn't make that big a difference, but it could make a difference really early game. Late game is just for collecting.
I wanted the experience of the game, and I wanted the experience of what the game wants me to have. I didn't want to subject myself to a weird experience. I think that was part of my problem. And I had really good armor, really good weapons, and I'm still getting my ass killed by a fucking a red moblin, because I just didn't understand the game. So my mindset was very changed.
The very first time I used an amiibo in this game, I used my Ganondorf amiibo from Smash Brothers, and it, during a lightning storm. And so all the, barrels and chests and stuff fall from the sky, and I'm opening the chest to get an item, and lightning strikes the chest and killed me. And I was like, all right, 10 out of 10 video game. Seriously.
Like, do you have amiibos or share our obsession?
I do, yeah. I have a ton of them. It's so funny. I can't tell you how many times I booted up the game. Like, I'm going to use my amiibos this time. And not once through my, 80 hours of gameplay did I ever remember to actually use the amiibo. And I've got tons of them.
Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, I don't know. This is one of the games where I had one of the worst experiences I've ever had with. Also, I don't pre-order games. I never buy games brand new or try to pay $60. But besides, Nintendo says, "Haha, fuck you, Mike. You're paying $60 sometimes." I try not to. But so that was another thing for me that really stuck with me, because in the time that my wife and I have been together, which I should know this, we've been together 8 years. I've only pre-ordered one game, and that was this game, and I didn't even play it for more than a few hours. So she always would give me a hard time about that. So. Yeah, I never pre-ordered a game again. But I mean, it's just such a bad experience with this game, and so I was really coming to it much differently. Because also another thing we haven't talked about yet that also affected me, which really is irrelevant as the game goes on, is I didn't like the fact that you get too cold and you early on. Like that bothered me too, and it's really not a big deal.
I kind of like that, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it.
It changed up your expectations, because how many of us have played video games for me, the biggest one was like Tony Hawk. When Tony Hawk first came out, so many people were playing it, and everyone instantly thought, oh, because I could grind on this sign in a video game, jump down, land on the floor, and start ollieing, and I'm good. I can really skateboard. And then people started buying skateboards and falling on their asses.
That's just
video games are about that escapism. So we've running through Hyrule Field. Most of us would get tired far sooner, and we would be like
carrying like a backpack and a sword and all that
with infinite stuff. Yeah, we would be like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I'm ready to just go home. So I kind of like that was one element. Like, I don't like in games like you have to eat, you have to constantly eat. That's to me too realistic.
Yeah.
But like, oh, it's cold here. It created a new strategy, and especially because there's ways to circumvent that with gear and food and potions and stuff. So I didn't mind it personally.
Yeah, that first cold place on the Great Plateau, that I can't remember how you do it, but there's something you can trigger where you go to the old man's cabin, and he's got a winter coat in there that you can wear that is enough to withstand the cold.
Run across it, I think, because I ran across it too, and I wasn't cheating a whole lot at this point. I was just doing the Great Plateau the way you do the Great Plateau, because I've done it once before, and I did get that coat too. I think you just kind of happen across it.
And I like
later in the game in cold areas, I always had a flame sword and would just pop that on my back and use my high level armor. Yeah.
I mean, this time when I played the game like that, and the guy told me, like, every place you go to, there's somebody you can find pretty quickly that would be like, here's some equipment to get you by.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I looked it up. You have to go into the cold weather area and get to the top of the mountain. And then when you come back, he's like, hey, here's this coat. So next time you don't have to mess with fire potions and stuff. But just
Hey, I saw you almost froze to death up there. I have this coat if you
I think
want.
what I
exactly.
did is I just had a ton of food and I just kept eating and running for my life. And I got
when you first go the entrance that you're being pushed toward using to get into the cold area, which you don't have to, you could climb and get around. There are 2 bushes of fire peppers right there. And so you've already been taught that you can cook maybe you have. I think you've already been taught that you can cook at this point. And
you're forced to.
Yeah. And so you can just take the fire peppers and just eat them, or you can make some food. And then there should be enough, if you do it correctly, there's enough fire peppers that you could get to the top of the mountain. And then, I think it's either when you come back down to the cabin, you find the warm doublet in a chest in there is what it is. But if I remember correctly, but,
I just want to go back to wearing a flame sword. Like the game accounts for that. Like I think like when I figured that out, I was like, God, that's so fucking cool. Like the game is just like, if you have a fire weapon on your back, like of course it's gonna increase the temperature around you and keep you warm. You know, it's like that's awesome.
Exactly. And you can wear an ice sword when you're walking through the desert, and it will keep you cool in the sun. Like I love that. That's such a neat thing. And then they continue that in Tears of the Kingdom, but now you can fuse things. And so I collect the shards off the back of the dragons. And so I've got an ice shard shield and a fire shard shield. And whenever I go to a cold place, I just equip the fire shard shield and just have it on my back. And vice versa. And then no need, don't have to change all your other gear necessarily. If it's super cold, you might need to also put on some clothes. And the same thing in this game. But for the most part, it'll get you through.
I don't remember if that's the way with Breath of the Wild, but I know with Tears of the Kingdom as well. Like if you have you fuse a ruby to your sword, so now it's flaming.
Yeah.
If you stand next to ice blocks, it will automatically melt the blocks and stuff. Like that is so cool to me.
It does that.
I think that's in
well.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
It definitely is because that when you're in Hebra. That's there's so many of those ice blocks that have items or enemies inside. And I just would walk around and just hold my sword. Similarly, you can use a torch or set a stick on fire. I mean, lots of different things you can do.
Yeah, I love that they give you those options.
And creating campfires to, just the campfire mechanic in this game, I love, right? You don't want it to be nighttime, put down a campfire, sit.
So, Kerry, I pulled a mic in this case. Kobe, if you're listening to this, you'll get this joke. I never figured out how to make a campfire. I never did it. I put the flint, I put the wood. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I could not figure it out for the life of me. I never made a campfire in this game.
So you never tried striking it?
You never tried hitting it with fire?
Hitting it?
No, I didn't.
Oh gosh!
I put the wood down. I'm like, I was looking for a command or something. Nothing.
Swing your sword.
You literally just drop it and swing your sword.
Yeah.
If it's a fire sword, or you can shoot it with a fire
arrow. Or if you have a flint, though.
Or if you have a flint, you can hit it with a regular any metal weapon.
Any metal. Yeah, if you have a metal sword, you hit the flint, it creates a spark and lights the flame.
And what I did is I just put the switch down and walked away.
Get this, Mike. You make your campfire like that, right? Throw a fire pepper into the flyer, and when it catches on fire, it will create an updraft that you can then paraglide with to fly up in the air like Rivali's Gale. So it's a free Rivali's Gale that you can do within 10 minutes of opening the game.
Yeah, that didn't happen, by the way.
Yeah, you that's like a speed run trick to get up to the top of Mount Hylia, to that shrine on the top of Mount Hylia real fast. Is
that would have been nice. I just never figured it out. I knew because you guys talked about it. I'm like, I know it's supposed to be, and I even looked online. The guy's like, oh yeah, you just do this. I'm like, but it missed the key word of if you're stupid, drop both items and hit it with a metal sword. Ta-da! Not just do it.
Flint, if you take a piece of flint and put it next to wood, nothing happens. You have to strike flint in real life to create a spark.
Yeah, I was saying, it's just like in real life.
This is a video game.
I love that. It's so immersive because, how many games before this had a mechanic like that? Maybe Skyrim? Yeah, Skyrim. Skyrim had some stuff like this. But it didn't have the flint thing. Even Skyrim, you could set. No, it didn't have that. No. I mean, it had things similar. Skyrim had that kind of dynamic kind of stuff, but not that. Yeah, I love just this. It's such an immersive gameplay because you're right. An Ubisoft game would have a campfire button.
Yes, or at least a symbol would pop up to say campfire, and that's what I was waiting for.
Press X to campfire.
Yes, and that's what I wanted.
And anytime. That's why I play about the HUD. It's anytime you press it, you're told to press X to campfire. You're like, well, all right, I'm just playing a video game. But that's which I know Oh yeah, I see. I love that. That's funny. That is pulling a mic though. I love it. Thought you were gonna say that you played the game and you didn't like cook or something. You didn't make food.
Oh, I wouldn't have had a choice. I cooked a lot.
Oh yeah.
I maxed out any game. If you give me a healing away, I will max it out. Like when I went to go fight Calamity Ganon, I was every boss I was maxed out on food.
Yeah, my big thing is the Pharaon jungle tower that's near where Feyrush spawns, the lake that he spawns out of every day. There's a little plateau with like 3 Lazal on it, right next to the tower that you can teleport to the tower and jump off the tower onto that little plateau and kill, or it's a little rock shelf. And there's like 12 durian that grow there. And the durian, so you take like 1 steak and 4 durian, and that will make you a food that fully heals you and gives you 12 temporary hearts. And
Isn't the jungle the same place that had bananas? BANNANS.
Yes, it has bananas too. It has durian and bananas, and it also has a lot of mighty thistle around, which do similar thing to the same thing as bananas. And so yeah, I would make my durian, my durian steak, and then just have an inventory full of durian steak. And I get hurt, pop a durian steak. Now I'm at max hearts. Once you get 8? I think once you have 18 hearts, because I think you max 30 in this game. Is that I think? And so yeah, that's what I would do.
I never reached max hearts.
I never maxed hearts either. I got 2 rings of stamina, and then I just did hearts. I ended up with like maybe 14 hearts, and I was like, I was in the second bar, whatever the second bar, maybe 15 hearts. I was like, I'm good enough.
Yeah, I was right. It was 30. It's a max of 30.
That's a lot.
Yeah, see, I never maxed hearts either, just because when you max stamina, you're 3 hearts shy, and you could fill it with food.
Exactly. Well, that's what I did too. Like I maxed stamina, and then so I ended up, and I didn't get all the shrines, so I ended up with like I think 24 hearts. But then it's just that's just 2 durian. So I would just make my piece of meat and 2 durian meal, and I'd always be at 30.
Yeah, as a completionist, that always bothered me. Like I can't max of both, but
it makes you choose. Yeah,
it makes you choose. But going back to the amiibo thing, that one thing I wanted to say, and is actually a complaint about the game that they've fixed in Tears, is the lack of inventory room. Because if you with the armor, you don't need to worry about using Korok seeds to increase your inventory.
Yeah.
But if you get every amiibo armor and every armor in the game, you cannot hold everything. There actually are more pieces of armor in the game than there are armor slots. Not by much, but...
Are you talking in Tears or in Breath?
In Breath of the Wild. In Tears, there's plenty. There's enough room for everything in Tears.
Oh, for the armors, yeah.
For the armors.
And also, in Tears, you can build a house and put...
No, you can do that.
You can fill armor stands.
Yeah, but in Breath of the Wild, you have the house. But even with stuff on the walls, because I did that too, there's still enough. There's not enough.
In Breath of the Wild, the walls, you can only put... weapons and shields though. So
but with the armor it's still not enough. And I was like, that to me that frustrates me, because you're giving me, because it's not one of those things where it's like there's thousands of pieces of armor. There's a set number of pieces of armor, and you should give us at least that much space, especially with amiibo.
Totally agree.
You're paying extra for the amiibo. It's like, oh, now I can't use this tunic because I have to toss something else. And especially they give like the Switch shirt as a bonus and stuff.
Oh yeah, you wish you could delete that Switch shirt.
but it's like you're giving us this extra stuff, and it's like, let us at least use it. Let us at least hold on to it. And as a completionist, I was like, oh, that bothered me so much, because I'm like, if I can't have everything, then I want nothing, kind of deal. That's just the weird mentality I have. But thankfully in Tears they fixed it. You can get everything.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I fucking hate the Korok thing. That was another one of my issues when I first played this game, the limited inventory slot. When I first played this, I actually never saw any Koroks until like people talked about it and I YouTubed it and I knew what to look for. I was like, what the? I'm like, I was just did not run across.
I love the Koroks. Like it's so much fun. Like I will just get on, because I never found them all. And so I'll get on and just look some more, find a few more. And the DLC helped with that. One of the items in one of the 2 DLCs is a quest to get a Korok mask. And then when you have the Korok mask on, it still doesn't show you the Koroks though. What the Korok mask does is it has a little like pinwheel on it that starts spinning, and you start hearing a little like, Korok, like, trilling like, ah, like that whenever you're near one.
Yeah, in tears, I wound up wearing that the entire time once I got it because I'm like, this is so good. Like,
it's I wear that all the time in Breath of the Wild. And then another thing they added in the DLC that I think is free, that they added with an update with the DLC, but I think it's in the regular game, and I think it's in tiers by default, is the Hero's Path.
Yeah,
where you can turn on the map, you press a button and it shows you everywhere you've been. And it even like you can press play and it will show you time lapse of your character moving around. You can see your little dot moving around like Indiana Jones, going from Morocco to Moscow or whatever.
Every little bit, even when you teleport, it'll teleport over and whatever. It's awesome.
It's great. And so you can see, wow, I've played this game for 240 hours and I've never been to this like hill in Hebra Valley. I bet there's like 5 Koroks there. And probably a shrine I missed also. So then I go there and look around and find it. And I like that a lot.
That's the weird thing too. When you play a game like this and you finally finish it, you go, I was everywhere. I've got the whole map. And then you put that and watch yourself and go, oh my God, I missed so much I never went to in my past.
And you see yourself go by the same thing like 50 times. Like you keep teleporting into an area and completely missing this like whole cave system directly behind you or something.
Blake, what is your opinion about Koroks? Are you like me? Hate the little bastards?
No, I love the puzzles themselves, honestly. One of my favorite aspects of the game. I felt like the game could maybe be a little bit more explicit about kind of what they do and how to, increase your inventory. But that's also part of the beauty of the game. So I wouldn't say I mind it, but the puzzles themselves and how they're just spread out is absolutely one of my favorite elements of the whole game.
Okay, I don't like the fact that puzzles are so hidden. But again, me problem. It's not any, I have particular issues with gaming.
I think I would prefer Hestu's pricing to be a little more forgiving late game, so that you can fill out your inventory a little bit better. There don't need to be as many Korok seeds as there are probably.
See, with that, I don't mind them being so many because you don't need to get all of them. Like, I think you need like 500 out of 900 or something like that.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
Yeah,
no, that's right, because I haven't gotten anywhere near all the Koroks and I've fully maxed out my inventory.
Yeah, so there.
Okay, yeah, you're
I
right.
like that because it gives you options of, I missed 300, 400 Koroks, you still can upgrade everything. And if you say, I only need 5 more Korok seeds to fully upgrade, you have like 400 and something to find that you can only need 5 of. So that's where the whole poop thing for the final reward is just like a troll almost. It's like, you went above and beyond. You don't need to, though.
Yeah, it's 421 to max out, and there's 900 out of 900. Yeah, you're right. Because I think my Korok number is like in the 600s. So yeah, no, you're right. That's total. I rescind my only like half criticism because
I just don't like the idea of them in general. I don't like how little. You have enough inventory slots. I shouldn't, because I upgraded everything a little bit, but when you started asking for like 20 Korok seeds for another weapon, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. We're done with that.
Yeah, but I understand, because you find like a god tier weapon and then have no space for it, and you have to have this like choice of what do I drop, what do I throw away.
What were you gonna say?
Not just 20 Korok seeds for an inventory slot, but you get to see him dance, Mike.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, the more dances he does, he's gonna increase the price.
And in Tears of the Kingdom, he has backup dancers.
Yes, he does.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
I just didn't like it being locked, especially in a game where my inventory breaks. That just bothered me at first. I got over it in this playthrough. Like, I had a really hard time going to my first Divine Beast, which was, for me, I did what the guide kind of tells you to do. I went to Zora first. That was the hardest part of the game, was getting there and going through all the stuff leading up to it. After I got farther in the game, then it wasn't such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I think going through that valley while it's raining, so you can't climb anything, and there's lightning, and you're fighting these lightning Lazal everywhere, is probably the hardest part of the game. And if you're following the way the game is kind of intending, it's like the first thing you do after getting, it's not the first thing, but it's pretty early. Like, it's maybe 10 hours into a 50-hour game that you have, I would say, probably the hardest part of the whole game. And it's not that it's harder. It's hard if you're doing it early, because you don't have very many hearts yet. You probably only have like 5 or 6 hearts, and you've got to get through. It's a pretty tough gauntlet. And it's funny because then on my second playthrough, I went and did the Rito first and got the Rivali's Gale. And then with that, you can go behind Zora's Domain, and there's like a mountain right behind Zora's Domain, kind of on the northwest side of it. And if you Rivali's Gale from up there, you can hang glide directly into the city and completely skip all that.
Oh,
and
that's
it's pretty.
cool.
It's pretty cool. You've got to have some stamina by that, but still, you probably would by that point.
I mean, I did a bunch of shrines leading up to it because that was my thing when I played this game. As I was traversing across the map, I was trying to do as many shrines as I possibly could as soon as the game let.
And were you doing stamina first?
I did. I got myself a full 2 rings before I did any hearts, which was also a mistake because I was getting my ass handed to me.
That's very good for exploration, and you have to also be good at combat if you do it that way. But that's definitely. I did kind of a mix. I got myself a few hearts, and then a stamina ring, then a few more hearts, and a stamina ring. I maxed out stamina, but I maxed out stamina rather than max out hearts for sure. Because
the guy told me to get 2 rings of stamina first, before you mess with hearts.
Oh wow!
I don't agree with that. But
I wouldn't recommend that for new players at all. I'd recommend that for veteran players who are like badasses at the combat. But
I agree.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy in my opinion because you'd be running around with 3 hearts for a long time.
Yep, I didn't get my first heart container until after I beat a Divine Beast.
That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough. That's kind of a pro mode approach. You know, think you're ready to go beat Ganon with a wooden pot lid and a stick and 3 hearts. That's the like pro run is to just go straight to Hyrule Castle as soon as you get off of the Great Plateau.
Yeah, no, thank you. I watched.
No, I'm never gonna do that. That is insane to me.
I mean, it's cool that it's there. Like, I'm happy that the Divine Beasts are in quotations optional. Like, no one can see my quotes, but I'm happy that it's there for the people that want it because you can just go beat the game. But I think like fighting the Divine Beast, going through all that, is actually a pretty cool experience.
Oh yeah, and it's how you get most of the story. Like you get background story from the memories, but you get the story of the game itself from going and doing each of the champion stuff. So yeah, I mean that's a fun way to. I would say try to do it without the Divine Beast on your like 3rd playthrough. But I would definitely not do that the first. I would never tell someone to do that the first time. That would be kind of crazy.
So before we start talking about the Divine Beast, I want to start with Blake. Do you have a favorite Divine Beast? Which one do you enjoy the most fighting or going through?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, honestly, because I think exploring the Divine Beasts themselves might have been my least favorite part of the game, which I still really liked. But I don't know. I did like the mechanic of kind of like manually moving them, to kind of solve the puzzles. But I found them to be a bit more tedious than the world design of the rest of the game.
Okay. I want to talk about the one that I think was the hardest. Well, no, we'll start with what's considered the easiest golem first. Because I still call them golems. The bird one. I don't remember its name, but in the Rito village. I think that is supposed to be the easiest of the 4 to fight.
Yeah, I think it's one of the harder ones to get to in the first place. That region is pretty... you have to get through like some tough stuff, so they don't like push you to do that one first.
I did a 3rd.
Though interestingly, Tears of the Kingdom pushes you to go there first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one is that one. The boss of that one is. I think you're saying the boss is easy because
he's supposed to be the easiest of the 4. He was not for me.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. No. Never mind. That wasn't. Yeah. He was wrong boss.
Yeah. I think he's. I can't really remember if he's that hard or not. That. I agree with Blake. I don't really like the Divine Beast. I like them as a concept, and I like the story stuff around them and all that. But actually going through them was the most tedious part of the game. I didn't dislike it, but I don't have a favorite Divine Beast because I don't really care for any of them. Actually, the one in the DLC, but we'll get there.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different.
I didn't mind like when it came to the bird guy. I thought that was a fun puzzle. Like, yeah. I also watched a video guide did exactly what they did, so. I didn't play it correctly to some people, probably.
I do kind of like how you have in the Divine Beast, you have like the controls to rotate the different parts or move the different parts. And that opens up different things in it and different like chests and stuff. I think that's a neat idea. I think the elephant one has the most dynamic because you're actually rotating the middle part. Or not the elephant, the camel has like you're rotating the center. And that completely flips around the level.
I did not realize that was a camel, by the way.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah,
I think you're right. I didn't realize it.
It's a camel. Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. It was just.
I can't remember the names. It's like Von Ruta, Von Naboris, Von something.
Even the people don't even like. They're like, yeah, it was our protector. Now it's trying to kill us, and I'm like, to myself, this thing's been possessed 100 years ago. How long has it been trying to kill you? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question, right? Has it been, because it's been 100 years since the calamity came? Have these divine beasts been stomping around for 100 years, like causing chaos?
Yeah, they have. They've just been going in their pattern, but like it's been keeping people from going through the desert, and the bird has been flying around.
It's crazy that nobody decided to do anything about it for 100 years.
What could you?
I don't know. Like Sidon is like ready to go. Like he's like, yeah, let's go take down this thing. He just was waiting for someone willing to ride on his back and
think about it. If there was a giant camel walking around the perimeter of your town with lightning bolts going all over the place, would you be like, yeah, hold on, let me grab this axe and I'm going to charge that thing? Or you're going to be like, no, I'm staying inside with my family?
I guess it's right. It's kind of crazy to think they spent 100 years of those things doing this. It's been raining in the Zora domain. I guess the Zora one is just raining heavily. And they
don't mind the rain.
They're fish people, so what do they care? It's just been keeping outsiders out of their area.
Just big. That's not my job. Energy. Just like
yeah, and the same thing with the Goron one. They're all fireproof, so what do they care if this thing's spitting lava and stuff around?
I mean, they seem a little upset by it, though.
Yeah, they're upset by it, but I mean, I could see where it wouldn't be enough to make them go try to like die fighting it. The camel one is like straight up making the desert unlivable outside of their one little city, but.
And there is an elephant one, too. The elephant one is the water one, though.
Yeah, the water one, yeah. And the bird one, I guess, what is the bird one even doing? Is it making it cold?
Yeah, winds.
It's just causing heavy winds.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, only the one in the desert is causing, like, real chaos that is a problem. The others are just inconvenient. So I guess if something's just inconvenient but also deadly, you would just...
Yeah.
You would leave it alone. You're right.
I mean, as a guy who lives in the north, I'm like, it's cold. Okay. That's how I live every day of my damn life.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because I only live in Minnesota, but that's how it feels right now.
Exactly. That so many people are like, why? You watch a movie and go, why aren't people doing something about it? And then something similar happens in real life and you're sitting there on the couch going like, yeah, I'm not doing anything about it. Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You're right.
Like, I mean, I will always make the joke, like, people say, oh, avoid it like the plague. I'm like, can't use that phrase anymore because we won't. We'll go on with our life like nothing happened. So, I hate how true that is. But
yeah.
I enjoyed the Divine Beast with a guide. I enjoyed watching the video and going through each of them as the video told me what to do. That was a fun experience for me. I mean, I know that's not the way that your average person will do it. That's probably not the way that the game doesn't make you do that. But for me, it did not do the podcast. This is just a me thing where I'm like, I don't want to do puzzles. I just did an escape room a couple days ago, and I realized I don't like puzzles. I did do good. I figured out some puzzles, but I was like, man, I'd rather just cheat, damn it. So I didn't dare. That's a different spirit. But like, that's how I play video games. But I enjoyed watching the videos of the Divine Beast. I enjoyed going through it. The fights, I mean, each one's a little bit different for the boss fight, even though it's all Calamity Ganon, essentially. Just different versions of him, I guess.
Yeah.
And also Kerry was super right, because once you beat more Divine Beasts, you get abilities that really do make the game way easier. Mm-hmm. And I die a lot less. Well, I saw Game Over a lot less. Still died a lot.
Shout out to Mifa's Grace.
Yeah, Mifa's Grace is awesome.
Mifa's Grace is a literal lifesaver.
It's not as good when you only have 3 hearts, by the way, if you can believe that. But it gets a lot better when you have more hearts.
Oh, yes.
I still can't believe I played it like that. Now listening to you guys, I'm like, I don't know why I didn't just get more hearts. I just was like, this is what the guide said. So that was stupid. I did get the Master Sword after 3 Divine Beasts, though. I beat 3 Divine Beasts, and my original way of playing this game was, as I played through the game, I would unlock a new area as I went towards the Divine Beast. So on my way to the Hyrule place, I unlocked like 4 different regions or so, and I did all the shrines I could do, except for like the challenge one. They want you to fight a guardian. Then those got skipped, except for the minor ones. I could do minor tests of strength. I could not do major or whatever the next one up is.
Yeah, I'll give a tip on that a lot of people don't understand. People get in their brains because the Master Sword works so well on the guardians out in the world. They think the Master Sword is going to be good against the ones in the shrines, but the Master Sword doesn't do anything to them because the Master Sword is specifically to fight the darkness, and the ones in the shrines are not corrupted. So they don't take special damage from the Master Sword at all. And so people they'll get overly reliant on the Master Sword when fighting guardians or guardian tech.
It still works though. It's just only at 30 base power.
Yeah, it just works. I mean, it works. So it's not as good as like
it doesn't, swords,
and it breaks. It breaks really. It breaks. I feel like the Master Sword breaks really fast when you're using it against non-blight stuff. But it might just be my
everything breaks
imagination.
I'm hitting the guardians that are
Well,
they just break. It's just fucking
A
great.
big thing to keep in mind is which it's not easy, but the game has combat mechanics that give you a big advantage if you learn how to use them. Specifically, the parry and the flurry rush. And for instance, if you parry something, it does 0 damage to your shield.
Yep.
And the flurry rush does reduce damage to your weapon. It doesn't do 0, but it does reduced. And so if you get good at parrying and flurry rushing, you can melt basically almost anything. The only thing I never got good at fighting, very good at fighting fairly, were Lionels. And with Lionels, the big trick for me is using your powers on them. But
See, for me, flurry rush is what you do for Lionels, because when they're charging
definitely.
you left or right. But I with Breath of the Wild, I used to take down Lionels like nothing after a while because you would farm them. And then, Tears of the Kingdom was like getting back into that 6 years later, and I was like, oh god, they're kicking my.
I'll say blue and red Lionels are fine. Black ones are hard. The silver and gold ones are like the gold ones. I'm just like, no, fuck this. I'm not even going to try. Which the gold ones are in the deals, the master mode.
I
have never beaten a Lionel in either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm too bad at it. So I was like, I don't ever need to do this.
So it's so fun mounting a Lionel, stunning a Lionel, and then jumping up on its back. And it's like bucking. You're like in a rodeo. You're holding on but you're in a rodeo. If in the rodeo, the rodeo rider was like slapping someone in the cow on the back of the head or the horse in the back of the head with a sword the whole time. It's a very brutal rodeo. It's really neat that you can mount them and then they'll try to buck you off while you're like stabbing them in the back of the head.
Yeah, no thank you.
And then you can leap off of them and you do a backflip in midair, pull out your bow, and bullet time, just start shooting them while you're in midair. Oh, I love that's one of my favorite mechanics. That's another one is the being able to the bullet time with the bow and arrow. That is one of my favorite mechanics in this game. And there's the hack of like you're fighting something, and then you Rivali's Gale, and then from Rivali's Gale, bow and arrow from the sky, just rain down death from above. Oh, I love it.
I didn't do this a lot.
Yeah, and there is a speed running a trick that's used in speed runs that you can also use with this that I've never gotten good with, but I pulled off a couple of times where you like bounce on your shield into the air, and then so you can use that to get like an instant bullet time from bouncing off of your shield into the air. But it's hard to do for me. But you watch other people do it.
I didn't try it.
You watch other people do it, and it's pretty impressive.
Like another thing about this game that it did, like when it comes to different, like I was talking earlier about the elements, like as you're leading to each area, like as you go to the Goron place, again, if I didn't have a guide, I wouldn't have figured this out. Somebody will sell you fire potions pretty quickly because I don't talk to everybody. There's an NPC that gives you a side quest, go get me 10 lizards, and then he gives you the armor that you need to survive in the heat place without having to buy it. Like the game always does little things to help you, but for me, if I would have played this back in the day, I would have been I might have figured out because I would have had to talk to people, but the fact that I didn't have to, that I could just use a guide is what made this game so much more playable for me in that aspect. I mean, it's, I just, again, there's the little things I don't like in games.
I love that as well. And I like the, again, playing without the HUD. How do you know that Link is hot? He's sweating and panting from the heat. Oh, is he cold? He's shivering. He's holding his arms and shivering, going, oh, and his teeth are chattering. I love that. I love it so much. Like,
and it does do a good job of that each divine beast you go to has some issue. In the water, you can't climb. You have the desert, you have to have heat stuff. But different than the heat when you're in the Goron place, which is just so hot.
That is one of my few complaints about the game, which I understand. I mean, not exactly what you're saying, but that the desert heat and the volcano heat are completely separate mechanics. And the stuff that works with the desert heat doesn't work with the volcano heat and vice versa. And I get it.
They needed another gimmick.
I get it. And I guess it does kind of make sense. Like the like Mylar flame suits that people wear when they study volcanoes, and they have to get near lava. You would like die of heat exhaustion running around in the desert with one of those, I guess, probably. You get overheated inside it. I don't know. Maybe not because so I don't know if it is realistic. Either way, I get it. It's just that is a little video gamey to me. The volcano and desert are two different kinds of heat. But then speaking of the desert, I love that the desert also is deathly cold at night. Or even in the shade. If you like stand in the shade too long, you get cold. I like that also.
Yeah, I thought that was good too.
Yeah.
And just all the, like we talked about, Mipha's great. You get from the Zora's, the one from the Goron that lets you block attacks or deflect them to pick them from a guardian.
Creates
That
like a shield. Yeah.
that is so fucking
So
useful
you get,
too.
if you mess up if you miss your parry, you get a free, a free block and don't like lose your shield and die.
I never even parried.
And then
do it.
So you fought Guardians without parrying?
Who said I fought Guardians?
Or well, you fought you beat the game. I
fought some, but there was no parrying involved. It was just a lot of I'm gonna beat you with my weapon till you die.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the right way to do it.
Stasis is really useful for Guardians. You stasis a Guardian, then run up and chop off its legs with the Master Sword before it unfreezes.
This would have been useful information before I beat the game.
And there the ones that are in front of Hyrule Castle and the ruins of Hyrule City. There's one or two of those that when you stasis them, they just fall through the map.
Oh, I use Master Sword a lot of them.
They never fixed it. You just there's one or two of them that you stasis them and it just causes them to fall through the map and disappear.
My favorite dumb moment for me is when I was going up the Goron Mountain with Metal Gear Goron, and there was a part where there's a couple of those stupid helicopter golems or guardians that you have to get rid of to get by, and I was like, I'm hitting it, I'm using all my arrows, I'm like, this makes no sense, and then I realized, I'm supposed to pick up these blocks and just drop it on him, and I'm like,
But you can kill them with arrows and stuff. It's just they are I think one of the hardest enemies to fight. Not that they kill you a lot or anything. They're not as hard as Lionel's, but yeah, they are frustrating. They're the most kind of frustrating to fight because they're kind of hard to hit and they're shooting lasers at you from the sky. They can definitely be difficult.
And with Lionel's, go back to what you're saying. I only saw the one that you kind of have to see through the Zoran quest.
Yeah. But
I didn't mess with him. I died to him like 10 times just trying to get lightning arrows.
Because he shoots. I love that he's been shooting lightning arrows. And so there's lightning arrows just stuck in the trees all around him. And you can run up there and get lightning arrows really easily.
But where are all the dead bodies of Zoros that he probably killed that went up there?
I assume that they get their dead. Or he ate them. He is like a lion horse. I guess he would eat. He probably would eat fish people.
I mean, to be fair, if
he's
people were real, we would probably eat fish people. So
yeah, that's probably true. We probably did eat them all.
So maybe not like you wouldn't be able to buy them at the Walmart, but I've assumed there would be a black market for it. You can buy fish people.
But you were talking about the powers. Yeah, Rivali's Gale is so freaking useful.
Yes.
For traversal. It's really useful for like farming the dragon parts, for getting yourself high enough to get up and get a good hit off of to get a good aim at like a tooth or whatever. And then the last one, the desert one, I can't remember what it's called. Urbosa's Fury.
It's really
that one is a lot of fun to mess around with. And I like they played with those powers in Tears of the Kingdom and the Urbosa version. It's not Urbosa, but the version in the desert one for Tears of the Kingdom is you like fire an arrow and wherever it lands, it does like a ball of lightning strike, like a lightning filled strike. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I enjoyed that stuff a lot.
Yeah,
they were just really good use. They were really useful when you get them and they have a cooldown. It was made the game much easier for me when I got there.
Yeah, and whenever you want me to talk about the DLC, they play into the DLC as well. So
okay, I'll be close to the end.
Okay.
Oh, but I want to, because this is probably different for all of us. Like, so I didn't really explore much because I was using a guide. I did run across one thing completely by accident when trying to find a shrine. Is I found a dragon, and I remember just my jaw dropped when I found the ice dragon, and I'm just like, I understand now why people are like, this is amazing, because it was completely unexpected. I was just climbing a mountain, looking for this damn shrine. I just happened across the dragon, and I'm just like, this is cool.
Did you found all three of them eventually, right?
I saw them.
Okay.
I only did the Shrine of Wisdom where I actually like had to interact with the dragon. I saw two others flying around. I didn't deal with them or touch. I had nothing to do with them.
See, I spent a lot of time with the dragons because, I wanted to fully upgrade all my armors, and you have to have dragon parts to upgrade your armors. Some of the armors. So I spent a lot of time. That's where I actually did eventually start to like look stuff up, was find out, all right, where is the best place for me to farm, this dragon? And it's like, there's this, go to this cliff, make a campfire, wait till 2 a.m. He'll fly right by you at like eye level. It's Dinra goes through this like canyon kind of in the north that you can like kind of in the northwest of the map. He flies through this like canyon, and you can stand up on the side of the canyon, and he's like at eye level with you, so you can really easily, because each dragon can drop a claw, a scale, a horn, or a tooth piece.
Depending on what you do, right?
Depending on where you hit them, and hitting a claw fairly hard, but not that hard, but right, because they're on the bottom. But you've got to get pretty good aim because they're moving. But there's 8 of them. There's 4 of them, right? So, or there's 4 feet, right? Getting a scale, super easy. Just got to hit the thing. Getting a horn, you got to hit them in the head. Kind of hard, but not that bad. Getting a tooth, you got to shoot it in its open mouth. That can be pretty tough.
Yeah, I wasn't going near any of that. I sold the one I got.
Yeah. But what I really love, that's one of the things, Tears of the Kingdom upgrades, is in Tears of the Kingdom, you can ride them.
That's cool.
That's fun. You land on them and you can ride them. And you can just ride them forever, pretty much, if you can hang on, because they will dive. But then in this one, they dive like into something and disappear for like 12 hours of in-game time.
I saw the electric one for sure.
Feyrush. Yeah, Feyrush he'll appear out of a spring at the top of a mountain in the jungle, and then he'll dive into Lake Hylia. And that's he appears in one and dives into the other.
That's a long area too.
Yeah, and so with the Tears of the Kingdom, they've got that like Underdark area, and they'll dive into the Underdark and fly around the Underdark and then emerge back up. And so they never stop flying. They just have a perfect not a perfect, but they have a circuitous route they each take that they never stop. And there's also a 4th dragon in that one, but anyway, you can ride them, and it's really cool, right? Riding on the dragons.
Nate, did you have any like random thing happen to you that just like when you were playing this, it just surprised you and made a great memory?
Oh, not off the top of my head that I can think of, but I mean, there were plenty of moments where like I just saw something and I was like, man, that's really cool. Like just whether it was a vista or seeing a dragon for the first time, I think I was like, are you serious?
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Okay. Blake, anything for you?
Oh gosh. Yeah, there are so many, just in the sense of like the game is so good about you can be walking through the world and see something, and if you question yourself, I wonder if the answer is almost always going to be yes. I wonder if this is a puzzle I can solve. Yes, it is. I wonder if that's somewhere I can go. Yeah, it probably is. But I think the first time that I pulled out and I realized how kind of interconnected the world is when I pulled out an ice sword in the desert and saw my temperature go down. And then you find those little interactions just constantly throughout. It just really gives the impression that the whole world is connected and alive in a way that I just can't really think of many games that have pulled that off as well as Breath of the Wild did.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just thought of one.
Sure,
and it's an area. There's like an area with a cherry blossom tree. And just seeing that for the first time, like I was really taken aback that a scene that beautiful could exist in a video game. I was like, oh my God. Like
you're just talking about the tree itself, or are you talking about what happens there?
I'm just talking about the tree in the area there. Like it's such a serene place that like just happenstance finding it and going like, wow. And then, kind of like looking it up afterwards and seeing the significance in it.
What's the significance of it?
My son and I actually built mostly my son built a diorama with a little help from me, built a diorama of that exact place.
Oh, really?
And like I took screenshots from different angles for him, and we built this like big diorama. It's like about 16 by 16 inches using like plaster and landscaping stuff, like the fake landscaping stuff from the hobby store. And like we built a tree and then like hand painted the leaves, the pink and everything. And then he took it to school, and his art teacher had it put in the library at their school for a long time.
That's really cool.
That is like we did like resin for the little pond, and yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were going to say Mike asked the significance of it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I didn't run into this.
It's just like a tribute to Iwata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just like first of all, it's like probably one of the coolest environments in the game, and then like. I just Googled like cherry tree in Breath of the Wild because like I didn't really find anything there, and I was like, maybe I'm missing something. And then I was like, oh, it's a tribute to Iwata.
So did you not?
Something happens at night too.
Yeah, something very big happens at night. That's a homage to Princess Mononoke.
Oh no.
Oh, so
No, I found it in during the daytime.
you didn't go
Yeah,
there
like
at
at
night?
night.
Oh, wow.
No, because like
So
I
I don't know if we
Googled
should.
and it
I
was
don't know if we
just-
should spoil it.
No, I don't
I mean, this
think
game
it's-
came out in 2017.
I'm gonna have to get my
All right.
cart.
Barry, do you,
Like,
Barry,
load
Barry,
up.
do you want to spoil it then, or
No,
should we
no.
not?
Let's
not
not
spoil
spoil
Let's
it.
not spoil it. Go there at night. Everybody go there at night, especially if you are like Princess Mononoke is my favorite animated movie. Not just my favorite anime, my favorite animated movie. And it's a tribute to Princess Mononoke. It's breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. So yeah, go there at night. It might be specific nights, but you go there at night.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, you talk about game came out in 2017, and there's still things that playing it today you'll miss. Like there's so much to this game.
I'm trying to Google.
Oh,
I'm trying to
insane.
YouTube it because I'm not going to go there. So I'm trying.
Yeah, but let's not spoil it for Nathan
Okay, that's
or the
Is that
listeners.
the Lord of the Mountain stuff that I'm seeing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
That's all I'll ask. All right. And Barry, did you have a moment? There's something you want to bring up that was like a special memory for you in this game?
I mean, the whole thing really was. I mean, I think just seeing the world, and knowing when Nintendo marketing was like, oh, if you see a mountain, you can climb it, you can go on the other side of it, and obviously that first shot when Link gets out of the the chamber and has that pan over, and it's like, oh, the Death Mountain over there, oh, I can go up it, I can go over it, I can go behind it. Well, holy crap! And to me, it was just seeing the world in this new light. Playing all the games, there's a lot of repeat because it's all Hyrule. There's a lot of repeat things. There's a lot of Death Mountains, a lot of Lake Hylias. Just to see where they all are, and of course, having fun with the names, all the different throwbacks and all the names of the bridges and the mountains and the hills, and there's the throwbacks to all the previous Zelda games. But I think after all of that, what really got me was going down to the island in the southeast. And Link's Awakening is my favorite Zelda game. So suddenly it was like huge tribute that's completely optional
What?
to Link's Awakening, where you lose all your inventory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eventide Island.
Eventide
I didn't do
Island,
that.
Yeah, it's like a game within a game. You lose all your inventory.
It's
You
really
got to
fun.
survive. Like, to me, that was like, this is so cool. Like,
Mhm.
they put this here as a little bonus, as obviously there's stuff to collect there, but it's not needed. You don't need to go there. It's completely optional, but it's a huge tribute to Link's Awakening. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, they just, every turn, they just threw something new at me that I wasn't expecting.
There's so many references to the previous games throughout this, with like
Oh, yeah.
random like ponds and hills being named after characters from like Link's Awakening and Adventure of Link and A Link to the Past and stuff. And there's like recreations, like you can find like a lot of screenshots online of people where they find locations in Breath of the Wild and then show you that it's like an exact recreation of a location from Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or something like that.
So is there a reference to Wand of Gamelin?
No, because
no.
Nintendo doesn't acknowledge the CDI game.
Yes, not
I want
that.
to play those.
There's also like the whole confusion about where does it fit in the timeline, because they mentioned Twilight and they mentioned Hyrule Time.
Well, they have officially said where it goes, but
Oh, they did?
yeah, it's the so it goes Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, 4 Swords, Ocarina of Time. Then it splits into 3 divergent timelines, and then after all 3 of those timelines, all 3 of the divergent timelines reconvene to Breath of the Wild, and then Tears of the Kingdom is the latest game in the chronology.
Yeah, they all come back, and
That's the official chronology according to the Hyrule Historia.
That's cool.
Well, no, not the Hyrule. Hyrule
Yeah,
Historia
'cause
only sets up the first. It doesn't have. It's updated. It's the updated.
Okay. That's
But
cool.
but don't forget there's still the branch from Breath of the Wild with Hyrule Warriors, because that's a branch timeline as well.
Oh, right.
Or
That's true.
Age of Calamity, I mean.
That's why we're playing that later this year.
Yeah, Age of Calamity. Age of Calamity is a prequel to Breath of the Wild.
Oh no, it's a
Isn't it?
prequel. It's a branch timeline prequel.
It's a branch timeline prequel, right? And is it lead to Tears of the Kingdom?
No,
Or is
doesn't lead to
it's its own
anything.
branch timeline? Yeah.
People-
See,
that's why
I
people got
hate
confused.
Muso games. I hate Muso games, so
It's so
I've just
good.
watched my son play it.
See, a lot
but
of
I
people
haven't.
went to Age of Calamity thinking it was going to be a prequel, but then found out that it does take place in the years before Breath of the Wild, just in an alternate timeline.
Oh, okay.
It was actually going to be on this show in 2023, the Calamity one, but you guys, or many people have told me, don't play that without playing this first, so that's why it's on the show this year.
Yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed it.
Because I needed to finish this before I could.
Oh, yeah.
mess it up.
Absolutely, this first.
And I did not want to play this, by the way, for the show. I was peer pressured in. But I'm glad I was. I came into this thinking I might not beat this game, but oh well. Like, I'll beat it later if I don't finish it in time. And
But
then
you
I
did
beat
it.
it in a fucking week.
Best week of your life.
It was up there. We went to a bar. We were bar hopping. I was bar hopping with my wife. I don't drink when we're bar hopping because I'm driving. So I was just sitting there playing Breath of the Wild for 3 hours at a bar, and she's like, "Aren't you going to do anything?" I'm like, "I am. I'm playing Zelda." Didn't appreciate that, but I'm like, I ain't drinking because we're driving, so there's no drinking going on other than this Pepsi they keep giving me. But so we're just gonna do this. You got a lot of. It was nice. The only problem is I ran out of battery, and I'm like, okay, we can go home now. My Switch is dead. We can go home now. She's like, "Oh, you can talk," and I'm like, "We can go home now." We went home shortly after that, but I was like, I don't want a beer anymore. My Switch is gone. I can't do this.
Did anyone at any of the bars were they just like, oh, nice, Breath of the Wild?
No, I went to one bar where I felt like I was 20 again, even though I didn't go to bars at 20. But like it was like a for some reason it was a small bar. It was like an old trailer. It looked like they converted into a bar, and everybody was singing as loud as they possibly could, and I wanted to just plug my ears with something because it was terrible. It was just because the sound echoed. I'm like, I hate this. I hate this. Get me out of here. And Zelda was dead, so I was like, I couldn't play Zelda, and I couldn't. Terrible. No, nobody said anything to me.
They were singing that song that the eagle sings to give you hints.
They were singing 90s songs. I knew the songs, but I'm like, it's echoing in this building, and I am not drunk, so I am not enjoying any of this experience. So it was very nice, but that's gonna be here to. But no, I didn't know nobody said anything to me. I would have laughed if somebody would have said something. I actually ran into somebody I knew from a job 8 years ago, so that was funny. Oh, but yeah, as I was playing Zelda. But another thing I want to mention, the story. We haven't talked about the story yet. I have a complaint that the story isn't given to you. I don't like the way it's given to you because it's completely optional too. And I'm sure some people like that. I didn't personally.
I could see that. I mean, the story is great, and it definitely left a lot of questions unanswered because we wanted more, which is why Age of Calamity was a thing. But I kind of get what they were going for because I think, Kerry, you're the one that alluded to this, that this was the closest game to Zelda 1 in all the years. And that's how Zelda 1 was. The story was told in the manual, and at the very end of the game, and that was it. It's dangerous to go alone, take this, and have fun. And I think that was the mentality they were doing. Like, here's this big playground, go have fun. There's a reason to do this, and you're going to get the snippets of story. But they didn't want the story to be the deciding factor. They wanted your fun and adventure to be the deciding factor. But like you, I do wish the story was a little more center focused, and I wish it gave you more without you having to go out of your way to find it.
And see, I love it the way it is. And I think it by far has the best story of any Zelda game by 10 miles.
The story's good. It's just
the story's excellent. It's just, it's hidden.
Yeah, and that's my complaint, is that
I wish it was a little less hidden, maybe, but
the memories shouldn't be so hidden. They should be things that you come across as you play the game.
Exactly. And that's an improvement with Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom does the same thing with the memories, but they're very clear, easy to find. They're all super easy to find.
I only came across one memory in the natural way of me playing the game.
Yeah,
there's people at each stable, or there's guys at some stables that can kind of point you towards the memories, which is another good way the game kind of signposts.
There's a guy from Kakariko Village who, when you go to Kakariko Village, he's always there and he's painting. But then at various stables, I think at every stable, he's outside painting a landscape. And when you look at that landscape, it's the picture. It's showing you where the memories are at.
Yeah, I never noticed that.
That's too much though for me.
So he shows you where each memory's at, but I definitely see the complaint. I don't discount the complaint. I just personally, it didn't bother me at all, it being hidden and being optional. Because that's the thing. It's like, as like Barry was saying with Zelda 1, you can play through Zelda 1 and absolutely enjoy it and never have any idea what the story is. Or you can read the manual and you get the story. And this is it's like instead of the manual, they hid the manual in the game a page at a time, basically. And those cutscenes, every one of those memories is worth it. And like legit, one of them like made me like tear up. Like they're really good. And it's really satisfying getting the 12, and then it gives you that 13th memory. And then of course it also gives you a different ending.
I mean, I like the memories. It was just my complaint was that like I wouldn't have found them had I not been cheating. Or, I mean, I don't consider it cheating, but people do. Using the guide. Had I not looked up what to do, especially the one in Hyrule Castle where you have to go to her old room, that was not fun. Like, it's just, I would have much rather had it been like stuff that was fed to you. I mean, you do get some as you do the Divine Beast, where you get to, you get to talk to the Guardians, but without the Zelda's memories that you find, it doesn't. The stuff they say doesn't have nearly as much meaning as it does when you put everything together. So that was one of my again, it depends on the person you are. And I get it. Like I understand the reference to original Zelda, but original Zelda's an NES game versus this being a Wii U Switch game. Like I expect something different in 2017 than I expected in 87.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, but you do get a lot of dialogue from people that alludes to what's going on. What I would hate I would hate for it to be like, again, an Ubisoft game where you keep getting pulled into like unskippable cutscenes and unskippable dialogue where you have to just sit there and listen to a 3D model blather on at you for a long time. I prefer like being able to have the choice of whether I get it or not, but it's way better than like a game, well, like Mass Effect or something where you find like, audio logs you have to listen to. Or is Mass Effect one thing where you find like audio logs?
Dead Space also. Yeah,
Dead Space and stuff like that. I like this better than that. Or I'm thinking, you know what? It's I know what I'm thinking is the Rapture game. What is that called?
BioShock.
BioShock was the one where you're just always finding these audio logs everywhere.
Yeah.
I like this better. And I also like that you can go back and watch them over again. And so once you found all of them, then you can just go back and watch all of them in order so you get a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah, it's just, they did a good job with it. It just bugged me that it was so optional and so hidden.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I think that's a legitimate complaint for sure.
It's just, again, it was just something that bothered me because, like, had I experienced more of the story when I first played this game, I would have been more into it back then and maybe been, it was just, there's a lot of things that just pushed me away. And plus, you should not play this as your next game after you beat Dark Souls. You should not do that. You need to have a palate cleanser.
Yeah. I have a question for everyone. What do you think? Did Link fuck Fish Girl?
100% yes.
100%, right? I think officially Blake's right, but in my head canon, yeah, she.
No question.
There's some
what's canon. I've seen the way she's looking at him. He's looking at her. I know those eyes.
There's definitely going to happen.
There's some half Hylian, half Zora baby out there. That's what the DLC we really need.
Some monstrosity.
Monstrosity, who was my father.
Yeah.
And what about favorite character? Anybody have a favorite character?
Sidon. I know it's the basic answer, but his wink.
Oh yeah. And how he flexes his bicep at you when he gives you the wink.
I was like Rivali. He was a jackass.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I like Rivali too. Like really fond of Rivali. He really grew on me.
Especially after Age of Calamity. I really liked him even more. Because that gives a little more time to develop the characters, which is what I wanted from the DLC, which I know we'll talk about here in a little bit, but I wanted more backstory on the champions in the DLC, and I feel I didn't get that because they're really interesting, varied characters, and we see them for so little of the game.
Yeah, he's definitely the most interesting of the champions. My favorite is Cass.
Cass is fun.
Cass, for people that know, he is the Rito bard who is playing the accordion around. I love that song that he plays. The song he plays in the accordion is so good. And of course, like I was saying, one of the main DLC, the story DLC centers around him to some extent. He's a major character in this story DLC. And I love Cass. I was really disappointed that he is not in Tears of the Kingdom. I hope that we eventually get a Tears of the Kingdom DLC with Cass in it.
There's no DLC for the Tears of the Kingdom.
They said that. I want Cass. I wanted to know what's up with Cass in Tears of the Kingdom. Cass is he is a Rito bard with the accordion.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I saw him a bunch because he gives you a bunch of shrine quests.
He does. He gives you a shrine quest for every inn, or I think every inn. In Tears of the Kingdom, instead of Cass, there's a different Rito guy that's a pelican Rito, I guess, and he's a newspaper guy. Pin? Was it Pin? Was that his name?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but he's fun too. But he's a newspaper. But I love Cass a lot. If you want us to talk about the DLC, he's a good segue into the DLC.
Sure, yeah, we can talk about the DLC. I know you want to.
So there's two main DLC. There's other than like pre-order bonuses and stuff. There's two DLC. There's a story one called The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild: The Champion's Ballad, and that one is on how long to beat. It's 10 hours just to rush through it. 13 hours completionist. So it's a good little chunk of extended content. But the idea behind that one is there is a song called the Champions Ballad about the champions, and Cass is trying to find like his master wrote the song, and he's trying to find the song. So he's going to different areas and trying to find the words to the song, and you help him do that. And so in each area you have like 3 little challenges to do that open up 3 shrines, and you have like it's if you don't use a guide, it's a really good hard puzzle where you have they're like pictures that you can't open up yourself, right? They're like inscribed on rocks, on these like stones, and they're an overhead view of where you need to go to find the shrine, but they're not oriented north south or whatever either necessarily. And so what I found to do it is take a picture with my camera, or take a picture like with my actual like real world camera of it, and then open my map and try to figure out what it matches on the terrain on the map. And or you could use a guide and do it that way. But it's a lot of fun. It's difficult. The shrines are difficult. The challenges to get the shrines open are fun. The shrines themselves are like kind of the best of shrine design. And then once you do all of them and Cass completes a song, it opens up a new divine beast. And you go through that divine beast, and at the end of that divine beast, you fight one of the monks. The mummified monks that give you the spirit orbs at the end of every shrine. There's a living one, or like a resurrected one, and you fight him, and he like grows to be like 20 feet tall, and you have this battle with him. And when you finish it, your reward is you get the 5th divine beast, which is a motorcycle that you can ride around. You can summon at any time. The fuel tank, you have to fill it with just junk from your inventory. You just feed it items from your inventory, like consumable stuff. But, bokoblin horns and teeth and things like that will fill it up. And then you can just ride this motorcycle around. It's faster than any horse. And you can it's so fun to just go max speed and go flying off of a cliff with it, and then just jump off, and you're just going so fast, and you jump off and hang glide. Or my favorite, you were talking about favorite moment in the game.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in this game was first getting the motorcycle and going to where Din Ra comes out. And Din Ra, the fire dragon, he comes out of the volcano, and then he flies about 100 feet in the air, so pretty low, along the northern coast. And I just had this great moment of me riding this motorcycle directly under him, and then a blood moon happened. And so there's a blood moon rising, and I'm wearing Majora's Mask, riding underneath and it just was the most beautiful. I took the screenshot of it. Was just it was so epic riding this motorcycle and riding about as fast as he's flying, and it's a lot of fun. So I love that DLC.
Okay. We might do a mini on it some point.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I talked too much about it.
Oh, you're fine. By the time I get to it, if people want more Zelda, they have more Zelda content. It's not going to be anytime too soon because I'm not getting.
Did any of the other guys play that DLC?
Yeah, I did. I used a guide to find all the pictures because I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Don't blame you.
Let me just find where they are because they were pretty cryptic. But it was fun. I enjoyed that divine beast, and I got the motorcycle. But the problem with the motorcycle for me is I got the motorcycle, and I was like, all right, well now I'm done with the game. So
right, that's true. That's true. I wish they had a new game plus with this, so I could bring the motorcycle and play through master mode with it or something. That would be a lot of fun.
I never even filled up the tank. I rode around with it for a little bit and go, okay, that was cool, but now I spent 300 hours or whatever in this game, and I'm ready to move on.
I like to ride around with it with the Korok mask on, and so I can find Koroks more quickly. But the other DLC, mentioning that is the Master Trials, which includes several things. It's not just the Master Trials. It includes the mask we just talked about. It includes a portable teleportation ring that you can lay down, so you can create there's a place you like to go that there's not a tower or a shrine very close to, like a favorite farming spot or whatever. You can put down this little ring and create a teleportation spot that you can go to at any time. I mentioned the Majora's Mask. You can find Majora's Mask with this DLC, and so there's the animal mask you can find, right? You can find the monster mask you can get from Kilton, the monster vendor. Mike, did you ever get Kilton?
No, I never found this. I didn't look for it either, to be fair. So
okay, yeah. So Kilton sells Kilton, yeah, he first appears in the northern part of the map at the Skull Lake, and then later he appears in the desert, and he kind of goes. But yes, you can buy special items from Kilton that include like a bunch of random stuff. This isn't DLC. This is the base game, and some of the stuff he sells like a Bokoblin mask, and it looks like a mask that someone in the world of Breath of the Wild made for Breath of the Wild's version of Comic-Con. It's like a really good cosplay mask using like medieval Renaissance era like materials of a Bokoblin, and you wear it, and Bokoblin will think you're a Bokoblin, and they'll walk up to you, they'll dance, they'll want to dance with you, they'll dance at you. If you crouch up and down, they'll crouch up and down too and start dancing.
Cool.
And they won't aggro on you unless you attack them. And then there's a Bokoblin mask, there's a Lazal mask, and there's a Moblin mask. I think that's all there is that Kilton sells of the mask. I think
so much.
I don't think there's a Lionel mask. Is there, Barry?
There's a Lionel mask.
Oh, there is a Lionel mask. The Lionel are not dumb though. Yeah, that's right. The Lionel aren't dumb. They'll only be fooled for the Lionel mask for a few seconds, like maybe 15, 20 seconds before they like figure out that you're not a Lionel.
Try to murder you.
Yeah, they can smell you or something. But anyway, the Majora's Mask acts as a everything mask. And so it's great for if you're wanting to just ride around looking for, shrines or whatever. Wearing Majora's Mask, you can just ride around, and the only things that'll attack you are like bats, basically.
We haven't really talked about the shrines much yet, or at all. I mean, so the shrines are how you get more orbs that end up getting you more stamina, more hearts. You get 4 you get 1 for each shrine you do. You get 4, you can upgrade. I did, as I said earlier, I did 72. That was enough for me. I was trying to do every one that I could do up until a point, and then I was just like, done.
Yeah, well, you did a lot. There's only 120 in the game.
Yeah, and that's why I was
120
like,
in the base game. Yeah.
I want to get as much of an experience whenever I do games on the show. I mean, I try to beat every game on the show. Period. And also try to get that full experience.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I don't even know if I found all 120. I think I might have, but they're really fun. They're really fun. One of the best things about them is that so many of them, you don't have to, there's not like one thing you have to do. Like there's so many ways you can just like break them or cheat them without even doing anything like glitchy. Like there's just like, oh, I'm supposed to climb this thing, but I could instead use stasis and hit this thing really hard so it flies up in the air and I can ride it to the top and things like that. There's so many things you can do to get around these puzzles, and I love that. And my favorite of those is the ball puzzles, where it's like one of those like
tilt the switch.
Yeah, where you're like tilting where you're doing that,
so
and you have to move the ball into the thing. And I was doing one of those one time, and I just flipped my Joy-Con real hard, and it just threw the ball, and it bounced off the wall and landed in the hole. And it's like one in 1,000 shot, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
When you play it on a Switch Lite, they're not fun, by the way. I had to literally hold the Switch upside down, go underneath it, and go like, hearing it. Like, I'm like, this is miserable. Yeah.
I should mention my Switch was not used in handheld mode for more than about, I'd say, 20 minutes until 2021. First 4 years I had it, I never used it in handheld mode, except for I took it on one trip once. And other than that, and even then, I mostly used it propped up. I
didn't even want a Switch. We actually bought a Switch Lite when Animal Crossing came out during COVID because one of our friends in our friend group convinced people to like, hey, get Animal Crossing so we can have something we can do together. And that's why we have a Switch Lite, because that's what my wife wanted. And because couldn't find anything at the time. It's just now I'm trying to go through and play some Switch games. And
yeah, I didn't buy a Switch Lite because, I repair consoles, and I've had to repair more Joy-Cons than like anything else, pretty much. So, and I'm like, fixing the drifting Joy-Cons, fixing them on a Switch Lite is a real feat compared to it's a super easy, like 15, 20 minute fix on a regular Joy-Con. So that's why I didn't buy them. But I would say one more of the DLC, the main part of that second DLC is powering up the Master Sword. And that's a lot of fun. It's very difficult to do. In fact, I don't know that I ever did finish the third one.
I have no interest in buying that particular DLC. I will buy the legend one, or the champion, just because it has story. I will not buy the other one for sure.
Yeah, the Master Trial, what it is it's like a trial of the sword, and it's like Eventide Island. You go in with nothing, and you have to make it through like a tower, basically, and it's like every every so many levels, I think every like 10 levels, you get a room that has some chest in it with some like food and stuff. And there's a campfire where you can cook things. But that is where you use bombs to blow up every single tree in this room and collect all the wood and then cook the wood into charcoal because charcoal fills a fourth of a heart. And that's what you have. Yeah, it's very tough. But when you get it fully upgraded, the Master Sword now shoots a laser out of it like the original Legend of Zelda when you have full hearts.
That should just be in the game. That shouldn't be hidden like that.
Well, at least they did it. But yeah, it's fun. It's difficult. But.
And the last thing I want to mention before we go on to question, comments, and memories, I'm going to ask you guys too if you have anything else. But I want to talk about the Master Sword. I like the Master Sword experience in this. How you get it. Mm-hmm. You have to go through the terrible Lost Woods again, and like it's still a very cool experience. And you have to have 13 hearts to pull it out. Like I thought all that was
because it'll literally kill you if you don't.
Yes,
I loved it. It felt very meaningful to finally pick it up.
Yes. It would have been so much less meaningful if it was just in a chest somewhere.
Yeah. The whole, and the Korok town, I know there were shrines in the Korok. That's also what broke me, because I was doing almost every shrine, and when I got to the Korok Woods, and they're like, yeah, there's 4 shrines here, and I had to follow a fucking Korok, and he caught me the last second. I was like, oh, yeah. We're done.
And I love, like, going into the Lost Woods, the trick to finding the way into the center is...
I did not.
Oh, you did? Okay, so the trick is...
I did it. I did not like it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you hold a torch or any fire, and the flame moves toward where you're supposed to go.
Oh, I didn't do that. I watched a YouTuber and copied where he ran.
Oh, no, yeah. So you just carry a torch with you, and the torch flame drifts in the direction you're supposed to go. Is the trick? Yeah,
I should have asked you guys. It took me a lot of tries. It took me a good half an hour to get through that place.
Well, and there is a speed run trick to get inside it, which I did manage to pull off one time after I'd already done it. I just watched a video trying to do it, where there's a hill on kind of the northeastern side that overlooks the Lost Woods, and you basically you put a log and you hit it a bunch of times with stasis and ride the log, and it will launch you directly into the center. And it took me at least 15 tries to hit the Great Deku Tree, but you can actually hit and completely skip the purple smoke.
That's cool.
But it's I watched a YouTuber, I watched like a speedrunner do it, and they did it like one try in the video anyway. But it's very hard. It's very, very hard to do.
Okay. Oh my god, we didn't talk about the final fight. We'll do it afterward. Oh, Nate, what were you gonna say?
Oh, you don't want to talk about the final fight yet?
I do. We can now. That's what you.
Oh.
We're at the 2-hour mark, and I'm like, the raw audio.
I've been talking a lot. Sorry.
Yeah,
I knew this would be long.
I just wanted to say, going into that final fight, like I was my day off from work. All I did was cook food. I went and found some shrines. I made some elixirs. And then when my wife got home from work, I said, watch me beat this game. And that's when I fought the final fight. But it was like I made it like an event, in my house. I was like, all day, I'm just going to do this and get ready to fight Ganon.
That's awesome.
That's a great experience, though. I mean, like that. I'm happy this game had made so many great experiences for people. Final Fight, I think, is cool too. Like I mean, after you beat the 4 Divine Beasts, otherwise you got to fight all the fucking bosses in a row. But thank God I didn't. That fight was hell for me because I couldn't parry his lasers in the second form, so I ran around for 5 minutes waiting for the ability to fill back up for the Goron. That was fun. But and the final part where you fight the beast version and you ride the horse and have to shoot arrows, that was fun. That was a good final part.
Yeah, that part reminds me of the final fight in the phase 2 of the final fight in Twilight Princess, that's my favorite final fight of any Zelda game is Twilight Princess's ending. But yeah, this is really cool. It's very epic. Yeah, okay. it's great. And I love it.
Sorry.
You're good.
I was just gonna say I like the fights here because like the first one is challenging. Like you. I mean, I don't want to say you have to try or that you can just like in the second phase, it's just like easy baby mode. But like,
it wasn't for me.
The first fight is like, okay, I got to parry these. And I had never parried before then, and I was like, I guess I'm going to try, and then pulling it off felt really cool. And then you get to the second phase and it's more like kind of just like a spectacle, versus a difficulty thing, which I really like because it ends so cool.
She's like Dark Souls. The final boss. You just parry and win.
That's true. Yeah, actually, I was gonna say that is exactly like Dark Souls. If you can parry, it's super easy, and if you can't, it's very hard.
I've done it both ways.
I've never not parry cheesed. Oh no, the last time I beat it, I didn't parry cheese Gwen. But yeah, no, I love that. I love exactly that. Has anyone ever beaten Ganon without doing the Divine Beast?
I have not.
No.
Me either. I know that
One should.
If you don't, then I think you have to fight each of the bosses from the Divine Beast first.
You fight all 4.
Yeah, but one at a time, right?
Yeah, one at a time.
Oh.
And I looked it up because I was like, oh, maybe that would be a fun thing to do. But then it's like, oh, I still have to fight them. Like, that would just be, meh,
It's hard.
Does Ganon also have full health then, too, right? Because he doesn't get blasted.
But it's kind of like an epic moment when you go into that room and each of the champions' ghosts on the Divine Beast is like, we're here to help. We've got this. Yeah. And they all like fire the lasers across. It's like boom and blow up. And that's really, and then you fall down into with Ganon. But yeah, the parrying, I kind of spent time. That was again something I looked up as I looked up a guide on how to parry pretty early. And so I spent a lot of time how to parry Guardian Blast specifically. So yeah, that second/first phase, if you can parry, it takes like 45 seconds. But if you can't parry, it is probably pretty rough, I would think.
It is, by the way. You have to do the Goron thing where you stand sort of in the right direction, hold down the shield, and it will parry it for you. Because if you do not parry it, there is no way to get out of the red form.
Well, and one thing I'll say is if you do the Champions Ballad DLC, you get a second cooldown on all of your powers.
That's nice. So. All right, and Barry, do you have any last things you want to mention that we haven't covered yet?
Not really. Just, at this point, if you haven't played Breath of the Wild and you're listening to this, and you should be turning this off afterwards and immediately getting Breath of the Wild and playing it because it's amazing.
And guess what? You can buy it for $60, just like people bought it in 2017.
Still worth it. Still worth it.
It's worth it. But fuck you, Nintendo.
I was gonna say one cool thing I did like with the final boss because we're talking about it is it's one of those things. Growing up with Zelda, Zelda 1, 2, 3, and even 4 to an extent, all featured Ganon. That was, Ganon was there in some way, shape, or form. And once Ocarina of Time came out, which obviously blew up, everyone was talking about Ganondorf. And it was like, well, Ganondorf, but Ganon, he turned into Ganon. I'm like, okay, cool, we have that connection. But then it almost felt like there was like Ganondorf everything and less Ganon. And I was like, wait a minute. So it was cool to see the beast form come back into this. I mean, obviously, he never had the Ganondorf form, but to actually see the beast as the final thing, it always brings me back to Zelda 1. I was like, yeah, there we go. That's what we want, Beast Ganon. So it's really interesting, and of course that changes in Tears of the Kingdom because Ganondorf comes back, and it's this weird flip flop. But I was happy to see that because I thought it was just gonna be Calamity Ganon as the boss, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna be this weird creature. It's very unrecognizable as Ganon other than the pig face. So to see the beast was really, really cool.
Okay. Nate, any last things you want to mention before we go on to questions? Or your daughter wants to mention?
No, I think this game is really good.
Okay. And Blake, any last things that we might have missed?
Not really. We've been pretty exhaustive, but I definitely want to encourage everyone to play it. And as long as you're not doing it for a podcast, I highly encourage people to at least go in blind, see what the game can offer you without guides, and just kind of let it wash over you and just experience it fresh, man. It's an experience.
I disagree with that because I tried that, but no, you are right. That is good for people. And I have way more comments than I'm going to be able to read on this show because I did not anticipate how many people would comment, but I'm going to read what I can. I watched the entire Overload Super Replay group first from Richard Sampson. Friend of the show, I finally finished this last year. At first, I didn't care for either, but then I played some other games and came to love this game and the rich lore of it. Now, did you find the 3 large skeletons and all the great fairies? Also, how did you react when they upgrade your outfit? I did not. I found 2 fairies, and I have no idea what the skeletons are.
There's a quest dedicated to them.
Oh, okay. I didn't talk to people either, so.
Yeah, just like real life.
Antisocial.
Yes, I am. All right, and from Lucas Sayanchi, sadly, I have the slightly opposite history with this game. I was totally in love when it first came out, but now I have some things I dislike about it. It's still a masterpiece, though. My biggest issue was that it's easy to become so powerful in the mid to late game that I didn't feel encouraged to play creatively anymore. The early game was super fun because I had to create clever solutions to problems I was too weak / ill-equipped for. Luckily, Tears of the Kingdom fixes this a lot. All right. And from Spencer Boyle, This was my experience with Skyrim. I bought it day one, played for a few hours, got thrown into space by a giant, and turned it off. I played it in 2020, and I was absolutely hooked because I mentioned how I did not enjoy this game the first time. From Jeff Tickno, I did the same thing. Friend bought his Wii U on vacation one year, and I watched him as his daughters played a bunch. They started a new game for me to try, and I froze to death looking for the first shrine. They laughed. I got pissed, called the game garbage, and didn't pick it up until I got a Switch just before COVID hit. Then I put 60 hours plus and enjoyed the hell out of it. From Quentin Crow, guess I should give it another try as well. If I decide to pick up another Switch, I played for the first 10 hours and promptly removed the cartridge and put it on Craigslist. The world was so empty and boring to me, but there was also a time when I had become fed up with and ironically spoiled by open world games. Right? And Barry, since I know you have to leave soon, I want to do your shelf stacker box quick because this is I still have shit I want to read.
No, you keep going.
You sure? Okay, just let me know. From Autumn Severe, I did the same thing when I finally got it. I had 4th of July week off work that year and just powered through it and didn't put it down until I beat it. I enjoyed it well enough in the moment. The exploration was neat at the time and the shrines were great. That said, over the course of play, I found myself slowly care less about the exploration near the end when it finally clicked in my brain that durability issue causing me to lose a good solid weapon wasn't worth clearing out a bunch of small mob camps just for a ruby or worse bow. All right. And last I'm going to read from this group, from Justin McElwee. Literally had the same experience. Tried it the first time, hated it, gave it another try years later, and absolutely love it now. And from the official Laser Time community, I'm going to read a couple of these because I got too many. From Steven Strom, really cool game. Played it at a friend's place and got off the tutorial island before stopping. Then bought it and played myself and got a bit further, but figured the game was just shrine, so you eventually wanted to fight Ganon and fell off of it. Forced myself to give it one more solid try, came across the store area and fell in love with the game. I really liked my time with it. From John Morin. Waited 3 years to finally play it and found it to be one of the least satisfying games I played through in a long time. All the time spent exploring or solving puzzles just to get sticks and weaker weapons that I already had. Game was really a high risk, low reward waste of time for me. That's how I felt at first. That changed though, completely changed. From Kyle Foster, this might be a bit of a controversial opinion, but I think this is straight up my favorite Zelda game. Some days I pick this game my number one Zelda game, and some days I still pick A Link to the Past. Yeah. And from last I'm going to read to this group from Dan Purchase. I've been chipping away at it for a year and I don't want it to end. I'm purposely not going to Hyrule Castle. I wander in circle and find the things I miss, and it's perfect. Okay, you're playing it right. From Legend of Zelda Stoners. From Fiona Aim, Breath of the Wild came out when I was a brand new mother. I bought it, but I had zero mental energy for it. Keep meaning to go back. You should. With the internet, you should go back. From Aaron Fine, I think Breath of the Wild is still my absolutely favorite game. It made me okay with studios pushing back release dates to finish the product. The world, the mechanics, the story, and the glitches. Glad you came back and got to enjoy it. From Catherine Noss, I wasn't sure about the game at first before I got it, but it sunk its claws into me very quickly. I didn't really know about it until COVID came around and we had nothing else to do. 800 hours later, and I still play along with Tears of the Kingdom. Damn. Here's a good one from Chan Van. 40 hours? That's it? Yes, it was. And even if I didn't have a podcast, that would have been it either way. And from Austin Mayor Whitlock, where can I find your podcast? You can find it anywhere, because I posted in the link after that, but I have to read those. Another one from Clayton White, 40 hours, and put a little face. Like from Marco Pernat, sorry, soon, try Tears of the Kingdom. It's Breath of the Wild, but so much better and bigger. Bigger does not make me want to play that, but play it.
Rip Cryonis, though. Lost my boy.
I don't know who that is.
That's the power where you can, like, cross fast rivers of lake by just making ice blocks come out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I never did that, by the way. I just swam.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot I could do it until the game made me for puzzles.
Just me. It's a funeral for one.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I love Tears of the Kingdom. I think Breath of the Wild, I prefer to some extent, and part of it is I miss the powers.
And from Mike Cooper, how'd you like that first Guardian encounter? I didn't like any of them. So, all right, from Neely Nodell, I put in like 350 hours, I think, and I'm still at 45% completion. I got every tower shrine quest, but I only got 120-ish Korok, and that's good enough. From Gary Brendan, I never finish it in 40 hours. I always takes me 3 times that long, and I'm fast. From Karen L, 40 hours, you need to get back in there and keep playing. You missed a lot. I didn't, you know what? I got to, any open world game, I saw enough where I'm like, I am done. I don't need to see any more.
Mike, did you ride a bear?
No, I killed a bear. Does that count?
I made a personal challenge, which I eventually succeeded in. I rode everything in the game that can be ridden, which is actually multiple things. So, including a bear. Bear was probably the hardest.
I'm going to read just 2 more from this group. From Tully Quinn, I absolutely hated this game when I first started. I got so pissed at it, I put it down for over a month. I came back out of spite, finally got off the plateau, and everything changed. And from Blake Musgrove, my brother got Breath of the Wild when it came out. I got to play for a few minutes and got pissed about the weapon durability. Last year, I just tried it again and found it incredible. Wild how taste changed. Me too. And last group I'm going to read from, I'm not going to be able to read a lot of these, but I'm going to try to read some from the Zelda fan group. Thank you guys for commenting. From Beverly DeCone, I bought this game for my son, but I ended up being the sole player of this game. I love it. From David Mulcher, I started playing the Breath of the Wild, and it's so fun. I'm going through trying to find all the shrines. I've always enjoyed playing Zelda games. From Ruben Ratana, it's a masterpiece. True nostalgic peeps will say it is not a Zelda game, but for me, it was a dream come true to have a Zelda open world game. Plus, the vibes in the game as Hyrule was taken by Ganon. It's not a perfect, of course, but it's one of the most enjoyable Zelda games for me. I would only add more variety of music for the outside world, but man, that game is so much fun and adventure. From Jennifer Addison, I struggled when I first played it because I got through the beginning. I'm like, now what? I tend to prefer to be guided a bit more in these games rather than being let loose in a big sandbox with nothing pointing me anywhere. Me too. Fix that by finding a playthrough on YouTube and just played along with that. My decision paralysis is thankful for YouTube. Hey, I'm the same way. YouTube is how I played a lot of this too. And from Blade Suitor, great game. My fiance just put about 40 hours in over the last month and beat it too. Gotta say I was impressed. She found stuff I couldn't because this game is huge. From Travis Mason, where's the podcast? Would love a link. Here you go, sir. Is that one in the chat? I have to read those always. I can't help myself. And I'll read last one. From Rob DeRusso, good game, but Tears is better. Yeah, I'll find out someday. And before we wrap up questions, just have one last thing I almost forgot about, Discord. So if you're on our Discord, I do have a server or a channel you can post about your questions. And from A Gamer Looks at 40, Bill Tucker said, Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game. Few games match the sense of exploration and discovery of Breath of the Wild. I even love breakable weapons. Help me shed the idea of item hoarding and let me be free to play in the sandbox with the tools Nintendo gave me. Could go on and on about Breath of the Wild. And he will, because he's going to cover it on his show at some point, actually. He did a whole Zelda thing. No, he did a whole Zelda thing. What am I talking about? Go check out his show. From Wolfman566, Breath of the Wild came out at a perfect time for me. I love the exploration. Divine Beasts were a neat substitute for dungeons. Shrines were fun to come up with off-the-wall solutions. Overall, it's one of my favorite Zelda games, but to me, it does fall short as a Zelda game. The story wasn't great. Finding the memories felt like a chore. My final gripe comes from my own choice to get the Master Sword after the first Divine Beast. The boss fights were stupid easy with the Master Sword. And from Michael Colby, I had fun with it while I was playing it, but when it went back and found the world lifeless and boring, it's the game that made me realize I don't like Zelda fame. Okay? And before we go to Shelf Stacker Box, I do want to give away one Steam code, because I need to get rid of these damn codes. We're going to give away a code for Paradise Killer. I think you mentioned that game, Blake, didn't you, before?
Oh. Yes, it's one of my all-time favorite games.
So here's
That's
Steam.
awesome.
I haven't played it, but I own it. So here's the Steam code: 7QCKD2PVEEXDZQ8. That is a Steam code for Paradise Killer, whoever gets that. And let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Barry, what about you? Shelf Stack or Box?
Easy, Shelf. I mean, come on. It's such an amazing game and so meaningful. And I mean, if you're listening at this point, I think it's fairly obvious where many of us stand with this game, but it's definitely a Shelf.
Okay. And Barry, where can people find you at again?
You can find me on Twitter at Hawk Hellfire. You could also find premiumeditiongames.com, where you could pre-order our latest releases, as well as buy a bunch of in-stock physical Switch games and PlayStation 4 or 5 games right now.
All right. And Nate.
This controversial opinion, put it in the stack. I think it is a really good game, but going back to it, I missed the linearity and the storytelling that like previous Zelda games had. It's still it's a phenomenal game, but I personally, for me, I want dungeons and items.
I'm the same. And I'll double down with Nate. I'll go next. I'm also going to put this in the stack. I had a great time with my first 5 hours were brutal. I didn't really have a lot of fun till later this game clicked for me, and I'm the same way. I miss the dungeons. I miss items. I miss getting an item that I then use to solve said dungeon. But, I mean, I know it's cliche, but that's why I'm playing this Zelda game. I had a great time. This game is amazing, but I also just not my type of open world either. So, but stack. But still, I loved it. Just I don't want to put it on my shelf. And Blake.
Oh, this one's definitely going on the shelf where it gets its own pedestal, perhaps a little mini spotlight, maybe a lazy Susan to properly display it. Just a masterpiece of like textbook game design, in my opinion.
All right. And Kerry.
Fuck this game. Put it in the box. No. This game is not only on the shelf, I think it's currently in my Switch, just in case I want to play something. It's my very favorite game ever, so definitely on the shelf.
All right, and I want to thank you guys so much, because it's because of you guys and other people in this podcast, but mainly you guys, that really convinced me to finally play this game and to finally have this experience that everybody talked about that seemed like a unicorn to me, that I was never going to have that experience. And I mean, yes, I didn't have the exploration one, but I got to play it the way that I needed to play it, and I got to beat it and experience it and love it. Not happy that I paid $100 altogether for this game twice, but I'm happy that I bought it on eBay. But I'm happy I finally finished it. Like, I finally can appreciate Breath of the Wild, not look at that cover and go, what an ugly game, and hate that game. Like, after I beat this game, I went to the Mall America and I bought a calendar of Zelda, and January is Breath of the Wild. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that now. Like, I'm happy. It doesn't bother me.
I got that. I got that calendar for my son for Christmas this year. He came. He's like, he goes, Breath of the Wild is January.
It's so cool, and it's really like, it was just I'm so happy that I had this experience, and it's all thanks to people that convinced me to do it. You guys talked so much and helped me along the way. Like, while I was playing this game, I did more than I do normally. I was chatting a lot with you guys, asking me, what does this do? How do I do this? Like, I'm confused. And you guys helped me enjoy the game more than I would have otherwise. So,
I'm glad.
Yeah.
And next week we are going to be talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah. Favorite Star Wars game.
It's a good game. I just finished it 2 days ago. So, and last thing I'm going to say before we just do plugs is thank you everyone for listening to the show. It's been going for 5 years, and I couldn't have done it without everyone listening. All the people that joined me, I mean, you guys and everyone else, like, it's made the show so special. And I love doing this, and I can't wait to do another. I'm easily going to do another 5 years. And yeah, and it had to be a big game. It had to be a big game for the 5 year. So here we are.
Nice.
And Nate, where can we find you at?
You can find me on TikTok at NateDoesComedy79. I did look and verify that is what it is.
All right, and there's a link in the show notes, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
And Kerry.
Hey, I'm on Twitch and YouTube as Carooseta, Kerooseta. I modify and repair video game consoles on there, getting back to doing that after about a year off from doing that. And then I also just kind of turn on Twitch anytime I'm playing pretty much anything. A lot of Apex Legends lately with my son.
Okay. And if you would... Oh yeah. And where's your son's YouTube?
Oh, thank you. Natropy, NATROPY_dragon. He makes these, he's very artistic. He does these dragon puppets and makes little Mimi TikTok type videos with them, YouTube shorts. He's got over 200 followers now, so he's real. You'll make his day if you go and subscribe to him on YouTube.
And there's a link in the show notes to every episode that you've been on since it started, so people can follow him too on there. You'll see a link in there. Awesome. And for everything that's been mentioned, you'll see a link in the show notes. If you want to support the show, little $1 vote in our Patreon poll, you'll see a link in the show notes for that. Please support the show and help affect the show. Makes me happy. And please join our Discord. As you heard earlier, as I'm going to re-record, there are questions from Discord that I'm going to put in there, so you can easily chat with us on Discord and comment on there. So definitely go follow all that. Please join us. See a link in the show notes for our Discord. I want you to shout out my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Half Fury. You can follow her on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. You'll see a link to her link tree and everything in there. I want to give a shout out to Bill Tucker, who did the MCU movies with me. He's on this podcast all the time. Check out his show, A Gamer Looks at 40. And I wasn't going to say also. And please, check out No Men's a Fantasy. And also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, squirrel videos mostly, and YouTube audio only. You can find us on everything there. And thank you, and you have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Bye, guys.